Well, we are here in the city of brotherly love, and there is nothing but love for President Donald J. Trump, who's speaking right here from Philadelphia tonight. I'm Nikki Stanzione.
And I'm Bobby McNeely. Happy to be here with you, Nikki, in a hot and humid Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, our old nation's capital.
It's really a special place. There's so much culture, there's so much history, and there's so much happiness and patriotism here today. And I'll tell you, it shows a lot about the love that everybody has for our 45th and potentially 47th president when you see people in the streets in, I would say, record-breaking heat.
Oh, no question. And right off the bat, we have to announce Birch Gold.
Yes.
If you text Trump, T-R-U-M-P, to 9898, they'll find a way to help you convert your 401k or your IRA into gold. As we see now, the petrodollar is in some deep trouble. After 50 years of dominating on the global scale, Saudi Arabia is now working with China, Brazil, the yuan. We're in deep trouble with that.
And it's a scary thing. It's a scary time, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you contact Birch Gold, because they're going to be able to help you to figure out how to really secure your future.
Absolutely. I just went through an insurance class, Nikki, just this week. And let me tell you, we are grossly underinsured as Americans.
No doubt.
This is a great way to convert a 401k and IRA if you're not happy with what you have, and make sure that it's tax deductible. And
that's
gold,
a great
you
point.
need securities if we're going to forecast the brutal weather that's literally happening here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Listen, I brought my fan with me.
Oh, no question.
We're all ready. We've got fans everywhere. Fans of President Trump, fans of Birch Gold. And, speaking of the fans, I want to say this is what we call the MAGA crowd. And I say it with love. I say this all the time. But when we talk about MAGA, MAGA means Make America Great Again. And it's not a derogatory statement, as it's often said on the left. And I think it's so important to recognize that making America great again means that you have pride in your country. It means you want to see a better life for now and for the future and for future generations. And that's really what it's all about. And so I love the new exclusive hat that we have from the Trump team. It is the MAGA hat, and MAGA actually looks like the flag. So it's an exclusive new look. I believe you text, I'm going to double check, I believe it's 88022.
88022.
Am I right? Yes, 88022. Hold on a second, let me make sure. Yes, text HAT. HAT to 88022. This is a limited edition. So not only is it special and exclusive, but it's limited. So you'll want to make sure you get in on that really quickly.
Oh, no question about it.
We love our hats.
And it's really amazing to see a crowd already developing in this record heat. It is going to be near 97 degrees today, if not more.
I heard 100.
Oh, even more?
Well, I heard the real, I used to do weather. I heard the real feel, quote, is going to be 110.
Wow, it's absolutely incredible.
Listen, that's love, right? You do what you got to do. I remember when everybody on the RSBN team was in Iowa, I watched it from home, and I remember they were freezing. It was so cold. It was so intolerable. I'm sure you guys were all there. And I watched it thinking, my gosh, bless their hearts, every single person that is outside in that frigid cold. And now here we are on the opposite extreme. But it just goes to show you, Bobby, that everybody, when they support this incredible campaign, they come out, rain, sleet, snow, shine, sun, whatever it is, they'll be there.
Oh, absolutely, Nikki. And it's remarkable. We were talking earlier off camera about the nearly 80 million Americans, if not more, that do support President Trump.
That's right. That's right.
And the sad fact that it's affected so many relationships. I've lost friends over it.
Terrible.
I know we were talking about different things, and it's sad because in a constitutional republic, a democracy, you'd assume that we could have these discussions, and we're going to try to find some people, interview some people as to why they're here. There's a gentleman who might be here. It might be his 78th Trump rally, if you can believe that. So even in this heat, we're going to have a lot of fun today. There's no question about that.
I'm seeing a lot of fun shirts. I'm seeing all the merch is always fun, right? Because you're seeing all of the different funny statements. When President Trump makes a joke, and by the way, let's talk about that. A lot of the things that he says are very funny. He's got a great sense of humor, and through difficult, chaotic times, he finds a way to laugh. And sometimes he'll make a joke, and obviously it ends up on a t-shirt, it ends up on hats, it ends up on bumper stickers, but it also ends up on the mainstream and left media as truth, meaning they'll twist a joke into being a fact, and he'll say, that was a joke. It was supposed to be funny." But people take it so seriously, and then they run with it and form a whole narrative, and that troubles me, because I feel like I always have to defend it to people and say, if you actually watched the rally or the speech from start to finish, you'd actually get perspective that was part of what's called a sense of humor.
And that's what's so important about the First Amendment, because
Yes.
even if it is political speech or hate speech or making a joke, that is still legal in our great country. But there are some forces out there that seem to want to change that.
You're so right.
It's been a remarkable time just seeing this movement that's gone beyond just one man, but quite an entertainer who knows how to rev up a crowd. I'm sure he will, not only today in the Washington's capital, or our capital, Washington, D.C., but then later today in our former capital, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
In fact, I'm glad you said that, because for those who are watching today, I know a lot of you have been seeing all of our fun posts and all of our fun information about the fact that there would be a rally tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is when President Trump will speak here in Philadelphia. But also, he will be speaking in Washington, D.C. today at approximately 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and that is for the Faith and Freedom Coalition, I believe, the Road to Majority.
Road to Majority, a great conference, great patriots who are involved in attending that.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be here with you pretty much all day, this beautiful Saturday.
Yes.
It's hot across the country.
We love it.
But if you do some yard work, do some shopping, but come on in, watch some right side broadcasting, and we're going to be right here to catch all of the action and talk to the MAGA supporters out here in Philadelphia.
Yes, we should do it. I mean, and you know what? People came prepared. They've got their umbrellas, they've got their sunglasses, they've got their water bottles, and they've got their love for country. And that's what it's all about. I always tell people, come to a rally, come and see President Trump, and you'll see a lot of love. You'll see a lot of support. And when you see the MAGA crew, right, the people that are here to make America great again, all you really recognize is that everybody's here for a collective purpose to make their country fabulous.
Yeah, Nikki, that's a great point, because Congressman Dean Phillips, who actually challenged, he's from Minnesota.
Yes.
He challenged President Biden in the primary.
Yes.
Didn't get a lot of traction, but he mentioned that after one of his campaign events in Minneapolis, he went over to one of the MAGA rallies. And this is a couple of months ago.
Yes, I remember that.
And he talked about they're really great people, and he had some great engaging conversations. And what a smart way for a politician who wants to be the leader of the free world,
no doubt,
to literally reach out to the people who get to choose that.
Yes. Well, and you know, to that point, I think it's important that we recognize that a lot of the rallies that you've been seeing have been coming from blue cities, cities that you don't traditionally see a Republican candidate go to, such as the Bronx, such as Wildwood, New Jersey. You're talking about Racine, Wisconsin, right? And Minnesota. I mean, all these different places. And now here we are in Philly, and this is not traditionally a city that you would associate with a Republican Party.
Well, it seems that, you know, President Trump and the team 47 is really going after the mid-Atlantic states, the New England states. He's actually prioritized that in his campaign. He says he's going to win these states, which makes the vice presidential selection conversation even more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you do pick someone like a Marco Rubio, you can't take those 30 electoral votes from Florida, but maybe he's seeing something in New England and throughout the mid-Atlantic states like Virginia, Pennsylvania, even New York, New Jersey, that maybe others aren't seeing.
That's a great point. And, you know, I think today what we'll do, when we're walking and talking, which we're going to go do in a moment, we'll ask people, who do they want to see as the VP pick? I'm curious. Everybody's, you know, we take these inner polls, right? We like to know what you think. And I'm hearing everything. And just for you to know, some of the people on the docket, if you will, are Marco Rubio, as you said. I love Byron. Byron Donalds is great.
Great communicator.
Fabulous. Tim Scott, of course, big supporter. When you talk about somebody who just loves supporting President Trump, my goodness, the way he speaks from such passion and truth and honesty and compassion, I really love it. And also J.D. Vance is another one.
Oh, no question. You know, it's interesting, for talking to some of my friends who are big in the tech world and even in finance, very interested in Doug Burgum.
Oh, yeah.
It might be a dark horse, if you will, a wild card, but they seem to have a very positive relationship. So I'm interested to see how that develops. I just being a politico myself, I think that Governor Burgum definitely has a future in the administration.
Oh, no
but
doubt.
They seem to have a very constructive relationship.
I love the alliance. I've been seeing that too. And he's been really with him a lot. I mean, all through the court cases as well, as we saw.
Oh, no question. And that's great to see people standing with President Trump in a situation. We've never had a president of the United States, current or former, convicted of any felonies. And what we're seeing here is likely a kangaroo court. I'm not a lawyer. I can't speak to that necessarily. But when you listen to the professionals, we are living in extraordinary times.
No kidding.
And that's why it's important to turn into RSBN and watch this full coverage, to talk to the people that are actually going to these rallies, that are literally putting democracy in action.
Well said.
And that's what we're about.
And that's the truth,
absolutely.
isn't it?
The Declaration was signed here.
Yeah, I mean, there you go.
Absolutely.
And speaking of truth, make sure that you're following all of us. RSBN is on Truth Social. Make sure you're following. How can people follow you? So we want to, we're newer to RSBN. We want to make sure everybody's watching and gets to know us, because we want to know the questions you want the answers to.
Absolutely.
So how can they find you?
Yes. So this is actually my first Trump rally covering with RSBN.
Nice.
I'm very honored to be here. Honored to be here with you, Nikki. This is so exciting, even though I'm melting. I'm okay.
We're melting, but we love it.
Hot as it is down south. There's no question, if not more. But you can find me on Instagram at Robert McNeely, McNeilly, MC. That's EMCEE at Robert McNeely MC.
Okay.
I'm also over on Truth Social.
Great.
I used to work for Truth Social.
That's right. That's
Disclosure, and love that organization.
It's fabulous.
Incredible fight for free speech online. I'm at Robert B as in Brandon, my middle name, Robert B. McNeely. You'll find me over there at Truth Social.
Perfect. And I'm on both Instagram and Truth Social as Nick Stanz. So my name is Nikki Stanzione, but it's shortened NIKSTANZ. NIKSTANZ. So follow us. Tell us what you want to see. Send us pictures. We're going to go talk to some people now, and let's see how people are feeling today in this heat as they are here to support their favorite president in an America First agenda. So let's talk to some people who are here having a good time. Hey guys, how are you? What's your name?
Zach.
What is your name?
Zach.
Zach? Welcome, Zach. So Zach, are you a fan of President Trump?
Yes.
So tell me, are you from Philadelphia, and did you decide, I want to come out in the heat today because I love this president? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So I have a quick question for you. What is your favorite thing about President Trump?
He's funny.
He's funny. He's funny. I couldn't agree more. Now, would you mind speaking to me as well? Because you are dressed to the nines. I'm very impressed with the dress. Dressed to impress, right? And
I'm dressed to say thanks to my president. I don't know how else to say thank you. I'll go through all this heat. I'll make people happy just to show my president that I appreciate everything that he's done, and he's not fighting alone. We're fighting with him and for him. And it's really sad to watch the Republican Party just keep their knees under the table instead of stand up and fight with him.
I love hearing that. And it's just a testament to what we're seeing around the country, where people are recognizing that he's not just fighting for himself. He is fighting for all of us. And he's basically, they keep saying he's like the warrior that's fighting the good fight.
In an area code that most Republicans wouldn't even touch, it's showing that he's not just about the rich. He's not about the elite. He is with everybody, and he's making a statement, a huge statement by doing this. And I hope he can, but you know what, that man, he has so much resilience and fight in him. If there's any person in this world that I aspire to be like, it's President Trump.
God bless you. That's so nice. What is your first name?
It's Slim.
Slim, looking slim and fabulous today.
When I run for Congress, my slogan's going to be, Congress is a little, Congress is a little overweight, and they need some Slim Fast.
They need slim fast. I like it. I like. Listen, we are a party of the people, and that's what we want.
And since you guys started, and I love you guys. You guys are amazing. What you guys do to the viewers, and just how you guys treat us. And I love that you're doing this more and more. And you are fabulous.
Oh, thank you, Slim. You're wonderful.
USA!
USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! USA! Let's go, Trump.
It's a shame you didn't dress for the occasion.
I dressed perfectly for the occasion. Come on now.
I'm just teasing. Listen, can we get the boots? Can we get the boots? The boots are everything. Boots on the ground. I love it. I love the whole look. And tell me, listen, we're here today. We're here to support our president, Donald J. Trump, right? And you clearly are representing. Tell me, what do you want to see when we're going to say when he gets into office? What do you want to see changed the most?
The border. Shut down the border. That's when he gets in, that's going to happen. We already know that's going to happen. Day one, boom, border shut down. Oh, yeah.
Thank you. What's your first name?
I'm Brian.
Brian?
Yes.
So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys.
Well, we love to hear that. We love to hear that. And we love oh, yes.
I am registered.
Everybody's saying register to vote, and it's so important.
I voted for Trump in 2020 when I turned 18.
Ah.
And hopefully he signs both these hats because my first time
So President Trump is the first president you ever voted for?
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
That is exciting. I have to tell you guys, this is such an exciting thing to be here around everybody because we get to see patriotism in full effect and we get to hear the love and the support. It's not, when people say fake news or who started that, right? We heard it from Trump first. When you see that and you see what's out there, you see, I don't know if that's the real story. RSBN shows you the real story. You see it from start to finish. You see the crowds. You see what's going on. You see how they feel about him. You hear his speech in its entirety, not just the narrative clips that people want you to see on one side or another. And that is why it's so essential to be tuning in, because you can't vote without making an informed decision. And it's so important that you do that. Oh, who do we have over here?
Thanks so much. We have Mr. Edward X. Young.
Yes.
This is, sir, your 78th
This will be my
Trump rally?
My 78th Trump rally today.
What gives you the wherewithal to be out in the heat? And you're just telling me about, was it South Carolina that was super hot?
Oh, yeah. A year ago, July 1st of last year, I was in Pickens, South Carolina. I think it was like 103 degrees. And it was an outdoor rally, not a cloud in the sky. And people were dropping like flies, and I was almost one of them.
Okay, and were you out, how many hours were you outside for it?
Like probably on my feet there were no chairs there. I was on my feet for or a few chairs, but I was probably on my feet for like 15, 16 hours.
Wow.
And at one point, the security guards, who have grown to know me because I've been to 78 rallies, one of them approached me and hit me in the shoulder and said, "Come on, man, you're coming with me. I'm taking you to the clinic." And I said, no, I'm all right. I'm ready. He goes, "No, your eyes are all the way back in your head. You got no color in your face. You got heat stroke, man. You can't even stand on your feet." And I was like, "Please, I can hack it. I can hack it." And he goes, "Look, I'm going to keep my eye on you. If I see you swoon one more time, I'm throwing you over my shoulder, and I'm carrying you to the clinic because we care about you."
Well, I love that teamwork. So what gives you not only the wherewithal, but the drive to be at 78 Trump rallies? I mean, I think I've been over my time, several speeches. I don't think I'm close to 78.
Well, two reasons. On the happy, positive, light note, a Trump rally, for all of you out there who's never experienced it, I'm speaking to liberal Democrats too, you should see at least one Trump rally because it's a unique part of American history. We've never had a candidate like this, but a Trump rally is the greatest show on earth.
Oh, no question.
And it's a one-man show.
Right.
I mean, he's not only is he a great leader, he's highly entertaining and very, very funny. Terrific stand-up comedian. Donald Trump is our first rock star superhero president. He's like the real-life Tony Stark. He's President Iron Man.
I love that analogy. And so did you were you always involved in politics, interested in it, or was it just Donald Trump's personality, as you mentioned? What really brought you to the MAGA movement?
I was involved in, I'm an old guy. I'm 64. I was involved in politics with, I worked as a volunteer for Ronald Reagan when I was in high school and in college. And I was very impressed with Reagan. And my household was largely Republican. But I'll tell you, when Reagan left office, I did not have much faith in who succeeded him, George H.W. Bush. And, of course, he's a globalist and a rhino. And the unfortunate thing is Reagan didn't have a good successor. With my first marriage, my wife was involved in Democratic politics. I actually worked with the Democratic Party for many years, for, like, congressional races and such. But then I really lost faith with the party. I lost faith with all politics, especially when the Clintons got elected, because I started hearing, I told my wife at the time, this isn't liberalism anymore, this is flat-out Marxism I'm hearing. And I lost my taste, the Democratic Party, and then I lost my faith in America, because we didn't have a good lead. For almost 3 decades, Reagan leaves office. There were either weak, stupid, or corrupt people in the White House, and America's sinking. And then we went through 8 years of Obama telling us how, well, capitalism's had its day, and this is the way it is, just we're not going to grow anymore. And I was thinking, no, this can't be. And then it was when it became clear that Hillary Clinton was going to take Barack Obama's baton, I said, hell no. I am getting back involved with politics. I'm going to work with the Republicans. And my liberal friends were laughing at me. They're like, "What? Well, you got to be kidding me. Who are you going to work for, Jeb Bush?" And I said, "I'll work for anybody who could stop this evil Gorgon from taking over our country and destroying it." And it was especially when I saw the Project Veritas videos, where it was clear that Planned Parenthood were a bunch of bloodthirsty, cannibalistic murderers that were selling baby parts so they could all own Lamborghinis. I figured it was my duty as a Christian to defeat these evil people, the Democrats, and I got involved with the Republicans full force. And then when it became clear that Donald Trump was going to be the nominee, my liberal friends laughed at me. And one of my good friends from the time I was a teenager, he said, "Look, what do you think now? You got Donald Trump. He's going to be your man." And I said, "Are you kidding me?"
So two questions for you there. Is it, do you keep these friendships? Are you able to? And also, who do you think President Trump will pick as his vice presidential running mate?
I've never rejected any of my liberal friends, but many of them have rejected me and even threatened me. And like I said, I think Donald Trump was sent by God to preserve Abraham Lincoln's promise that the government of the people, by the people, and for the people will not perish. And also, I think he's the only one that can save America and save the world. But, vice president, yes. No, funny you should ask. I was, for the longest time, beginning of the year, I really thought it was going to be Carrie Lake. He was showing up at all of her rallies and her book signings, and she's great, and she's conservative. But then I went to CPAC. And at CPAC, when I saw Byron Donalds open the CPAC convention, I figured opening speech, this is important. And this guy is dynamic. And he was born in Brooklyn, and then he went to Florida, became a congressman. He's made for it. And imagine the posters and the bumper stickers. Donald Trump, Byron Donalds, Donald.
Trump Donalds. It goes over pretty well. It's a nice ring to it.
But then after I talked to General Flynn, Michael Flynn, for about a half an hour after seeing his movie about a month ago, I'm like, it's going to be Flynn.
Oh, there's a wild card. And what an American patriot, General Flynn, and a former Democrat.
And what a perfect bit of justice. Not revenge, not retribution, justice. What the Democrats did to that man. I mean, the man is like a great hero. He's like an Eagle Scout. He's decent. His whole life has been service, and they crucified him, and they almost drove his son to suicide. That made me hate the Democrats more than ever, and I hate them. And I must admit, I don't know what they think they're doing with this persecution of Trump and inventing crimes, but I'll tell you what they've done to me. I used to be proud in my history, my varied history of politics, that I never was a party person. I never voted a straight ticket. Mm-hmm. But now, as God is my witness, if I should ever vote for a Democrat again, I hope I'd be struck dead on the spot and burn in hell for all eternity. The Democratic Party must be wiped off the national landscape, must be wiped off the face of the earth, like the ancient decadent Roman Empire of Nero, like the Ku Klux Klan, like the Confederate South, like the Soviet Union, the Nazi Party. The American Democratic Party is the great evil threatening world peace today.
Well, and that's why President Trump has said on many occasions, our retribution is simply electoral success. Peace through prosperity.
Yes.
Right? And that's where you, Mr. Young, I think are very well read and clearly know your history. And may I ask, too, are you from Philadelphia? Did you drive in for this?
I drove here. I was born in I grew up in New Hampshire. I was born in New England, and I've spent most of my life in New Jersey. But I live on the Jersey Shore in Point Pleasant, and so, yeah, I drove here. I have been to 78 rallies. I don't like to fly. I didn't like to fly during the COVID restrictions, especially. So I've driven as far north as Maine, as far west as like Dayton, Ohio, as far south as South Carolina. But I've been on the wheels. I've been to every rally on my own. I sometimes sleep in my car.
It's just a remarkable 78 rallies. I don't think I've seen that in MAGA history. I mean, it's incredible. There's nothing quite like it. And it's really a pleasure to talk with you, sir, today. And what's your favorite probably rally? Do you have one that sticks out more than anything else?
Yes. Okay. Wait. Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I think it was September 3rd of 2020, because that was a magical rally. Because all the work I've done on the campaign and as a volunteer, and I was the first person there at 2 a.m. at the Arnold Palmer Airport, and the news broadcasters, I think it was CBS, they caught me there, they interviewed me, and they wanted to know why I was standing alone in a parking lot, and I said I want to be first in line, and I spoke about my belief in Donald Trump, how I believe he was heaven sent, and then later that morning, when people arrived and the sun's up and we're online, somebody in line says, "Hey, it's you," and I'm like, "What?" They said, "You were on the morning news." And you were talking about Trump. I said, really? Yeah. And then by around 11 in the morning, somebody else in the line goes, "Hey, you," because I had a much bigger beard then. "Do you realize Donald Trump just tweeted you?" Wow. He tweeted you, and he tweeted your moment in the news. And I looked at it, and he even mentioned my name. Wow. And then that evening, this is in Latrobe, in September 3rd, 2020. That evening, I'm up front, like I'm in row 3, and Donald Trump is giving his speech, and he's talking about his achievements, and he's discussing whether he should change the MAGA hats, what the slogan should be. And I happened to shout out, "How about make America great again, again?" And then he saw me up front, and he's like, You with that big Santa Claus beard.
He recognizes people. There's no doubt about it. It just shows you the excitement of what's taking place in this movement. But then also, I wanted to ask you, do you think the mid-Atlantic states and New England, you're from New Hampshire, are these states in play for Donald Trump? And does that factor into his decision in perhaps, and I'm asking this because you're grassroots, you see it on the ground, with the vice presidential selection, do you think he can take this part of the country that's historically Democrat?
Well, pardon my opinion, I think he took it last time. I think it was stolen. It was entirely stolen. There's so much evidence out there. But let's not get into that controversy. I don't want to be sued. The thing is, the telling detail. Probably the most important rally I've been to was the Bronx a few weeks ago. That was number 77 for me. Because in the Bronx, I was even advised by people in the campaign, you don't need to go to this one. It's a tough turf. He's going to be there 10 minutes. Right. It's not going to be popular. It's only going to be 3,000 people. Half of them are going to be soldiers and sailors. It's Fleet Week. It's Memorial Day. You don't want to waste your time. And I said, I'm going to waste my time. I'm going to go there. And they said, there's only going to be like 1,700 members of the general public allowed in. I said, then I better get there early. And, of course, 30,000 plus people showed up. And
I think I saw you in the front row, too.
I was. and I always wear a green hat. I used to change my hats. And then starting in 2020, I got a St. Patrick's Day hat. I started wearing the green hats. It stands out in the sea of red. But the people that showed up for this rally, and they had to delay it because they only had like 3 or 4 metal detectors. It was the people of the Bronx. Wow. And I'm talking about, if you get my drift, they had Trump supporters there wearing their MAGA hats sideways with gold grill in their teeth and tattoos on their faces, and they were all for Trump. It was the local people. It was the people of the Bronx. The Democrats did it. They went too far. First they wipe out the middle class in New York, but now they've wiped out the lower class, the working class, the blue-collar people. It's just a city for the ultra-rich and the illegal aliens. And these people, maybe they're poor, maybe their life is a struggle, but they don't want their neighborhoods ridden by crime. They don't want people defecating in the street and shooting up on the steps of churches. No. The people of the Bronx are rallying for Trump. I believe these so-called blue states are absolutely going red.
Well, and this is what I love about the East Coast is it's people with common sense. Y'all tell everyone how you feel, and I'm a Chicago guy originally, but now I'm down in Atlanta. We're very polite, and I appreciate that. Love the South, Southern United States. But what's so great about the Northeast is it's common sense. Yeah. Yes, tell it as it is. Tell people how you're feeling, and it's really good people, and we can clearly see that in you, Mr. Young. And it's, the Bronx was a remarkable rally. There's no question. Do you think it'll be as big today?
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, the crowd has grown. I know some people are afraid because of the heat. I got friends who backed out. They said, it's going to be 97 degrees, maybe 100 degrees. And people will be carried away here in stretchers at a certain point if it gets hotter. But they'll show up. They'll show up late. Even in the Bronx, they showed up late. And in Wildwood, they kept coming. And I was motivated. Believe it or not, I'm an actor. And I won like a Best Actor award at a film festival in Ohio for a horror movie I starred in, but I felt it was more important for me to be here. I love the attention because I'm an actor. But, I mean, this isn't just fun. I mean, RSBN is great, but most of the mainstream media can't be trusted. They won't cover it. They won't get his message out. So we We come here to support him as much as he supported us. President Donald Trump, as a candidate in 2016, told us that the working men and women of America, I've got your back. We come here to say, sir, we have your back. We're behind you 100%. And you know, I would take a bullet for him. I hope I don't have to. But I would, because I would like an America to be left for my descendants. And I'm nobody. I can't save America. Only Donald Trump can.
Well, Mr. Young, I would have to say you are somebody. You are in the grassroots, my friend. You are seeing what's going on right on the ground, working with your neighbors, clearly articulate. I'm worried you might take my job at some point. I'm just kidding. But 64.
President Trump. We love President Trump. President Trump, God bless America. We need you. We need you now.
It's so great to be with the good people here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, clearly traveling from New Hampshire. We're going to see if we can find some more locals as well, but we're thinking that the mid-Atlantic states and New England can maybe be a huge factor.
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think the tide is changing. When I was growing up in New Hampshire as a kid, it was the most conservative state in the nation. It's been changed by dastardly means. You know, I was at a high school reunion, and I said, "How did this state go blue and go for the Democrats, go for Biden?" And I think they went for Hillary too. And a friend of mine said, it was a cop. He said, "Well, you know, everybody talks about Biden with the illegals coming in now." He goes, "As soon as Obama got elected and sworn in, he said buses started arriving here late at night, dropping off these people from Mexico." And he goes, "And we weren't going to let them freeze to death." He goes, "They've taken over the town and they've gotten driver's licenses. We know a lot of them are voting illegally, but more than that, liberals in Massachusetts and Vermont were encouraged, okay, keep your jobs here, but why don't you live across that border so you could vote there?" We're going to take it back. I believe you got it last time. And President Trump watches you, of course, right?
Yeah, apparently he does, from Trump Force One, which is very exciting. Yeah.
I want to ask one little favor. Sir, President Trump, I've worked for you as a volunteer for 9 years now. I know you've seen me on TV. You've tweeted me a couple of times. We talked from the stage. All I want a photo shaking your hand on stage. I want a photo that I can have to frame on the wall for history, just to prove that I was part of it.
Mr. President, if you're watching before the Washington, D.C. speech, Mr. Edward X. Young from New Hampshire needs a handshake. This gentleman, 64 years young, has been to 78 MAGA rallies. Sir, thank you so much for your time today. Really covering so many different topics, and have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
This is my sixth rally.
Sixth rally. And 6 is good, too.
Last year.
Nikki, come on in here. We got to, yeah, absolutely.
All of you.
Vincent
This is
Viola
amazing.
for Vice President from Saratoga Springs.
Saratoga Springs, Vincent Viola, Mr. President.
Wow.
With President Trump to go to Bedminster to meet him. I went to Bedminster and met President Trump.
You did.
I made him a flag. I made him an American flag. I knit it myself. For
Oh
him
my
and-
gosh.
For President Trump and hold on. What? Who
That's
is-
a big deal. Speaking of, we're in the
Oh,
city.
we have Betsy
we're in
Ross.
Betsy Ross's
Betsy
city.
Ross's house is right down the
Yeah,
street
exactly.
here.
How
And
ironic.
we love talking to great President Trump supporters
We do.
seeing all the amazing work they're doing, clearly all the way coming from New Hampshire and from the Atlantic and New England states. It's very exciting to see that.
Yeah.
So, Nikki, who were you able to talk to
A lot of
beforehand?
people.
Yep.
Well, listen, before I get into all of the fun people that we have here, I have to say, I, for one, hate crappy coffee. How about you?
Oh, no question. I need good coffee.
Yeah, crappy coffee is
So
no
it fuels
good.
my morning.
It's no good. And that's why we're so excited to introduce you to a company that's revolting against terrible coffee. Seriously. 1775 Coffee Company. Or as you would say, Coffee Company. I say coffee, he says coffee, same thing. It's crafted with passion and precision. 1975's beans are exclusively sourced from the finest high-altitude coffee farms of Bolivia. So it comes from Bolivia, and 1775 Coffee Company's farm-to-cup journey ensures the highest quality from bean to cup. So you can actually say goodbye to burnt coffee beans, and you can start your morning with the smoothest coffee on the market, and it's going to be roasted to exacting standards. So it's
I'm
pretty
really
exciting.
excited to try it. It sounds delicious. And just a reminder as well, in these certain uncertain economic times, Birch Gold is a go-to. And you can text Trump to 9898. I was telling Nikki earlier, I just did an insurance class over the course of the last couple of weeks. And having a 401k and an IRA are you need need to convert that. So look into Birch Gold. You can text Trump to 9898 to see all that they have to offer and make sure that your economic future is secure in these very trying times.
And I want to tell everybody how they can get the coffee.
Absolutely.
We didn't get to that yet.
Oh,
so I want to mention that.
I jumped the
You
gun.
went right to Birch Gold, but that's okay because you can't get the coffee if you don't have the money to buy it, right?
Right, exactly.
See how it all works
Very
together. So well, the thing is that's so nice is that you're basically... I'm so high, I'm like sticking to myself. You're safeguarding our First Amendment rights, which is more critical than ever, right? So every cup of 1775 supports Rumble's quest to give the world a video platform free of big tech and mainstream media censorship. And winning in 2024 will take all the energy that we have, as you know. So every morning, kickstart your day with a hardcore cup of 1775, knowing that your coffee is going to be donated not to the Democrats, right? So choose 1775 coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/RSBN. Use code RSBN for 10% off your first order. And that's 1775coffee.com/RSBN. Pretty good, right?
Nikki, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really excited to try this out. And we just heard the sirens go by. You know, we're in a big city.
Yeah.
So I just want to say God bless our military, our public servants, police
First
officers,
responders.
firemen. I live right outside of a fire station, and it's incredible what they do.
Yes.
I mean, they really, who else would go into the middle of the line of fire for us?
That's
and
it.
they do, Secret Service, thank you. They help provide a great, safe environment
So
for these
nice.
big rallies. So our folks here, the United States citizens, can see their president, Donald John Trump.
We're so excited.
Pretty amazing.
To see. I love seeing that. And what were you? I'm so sorry. We were doing a little commercial. So tell us what you were saying.
Last Labor Day, I got invited to go see President Trump at a biker rally at Bedminster. I made a flag for President Trump from all across America that the American people love Donald J. Trump. I also made a flag for Dan Scavino.
Love Dan.
We love Dan. We love America. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump. We need you. Trump 2024.
Thank you for that. Thank you for all your hard work that you do to support the campaign and for him. We listen, and we love, and he loves the American people, and that's what it's about. You know, I was talking earlier today about the fact that one president seems to be all for himself, and one president seems to be all for the people, you know, battling the different weather conditions, going from state to state, going into blue cities where we don't traditionally see Republicans. That's where you're seeing President Trump, while President Biden is, you know, tucked away at Camp David practicing for a debate next week. That's 8 days away. I mean, you know, you wonder, why would one person be practicing by talking to the American people versus another in seclusion to practice talking points?
And when President Trump braces that flag and he loves America, America loves President Trump.
Covered that last week in Palm Beach. So it's wonderful to be here. Thank you. I want to go talk to some of the guys over here because they actually are here to make sure that everybody is registered to vote. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're so glad to see everybody here. Oh, we're going to go over here. Okay. Can you come on this side maybe? Come over here.
Mr. Scott Pressler, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Listen, I'm surrounded by patriots here in Philadelphia. I love that we're not just this country club Republican Party. We're bringing our message to the Bronx. We're bringing our message to Temple University, to North Philly. This is how it's done. We should be in persuasion mode.
I saw your great speech over at the Turning Point Conference in Detroit. Tell us a little bit more about what you're working on right now.
Well, literally, so I was just in Wildwood. I was joined by Dom Giordano down at Mulligan, so we're focused on voter registration. But the day prior, I was at the Wayne County Correctional Facility. So what people need to understand is that in the state of Pennsylvania, felons that were convicted in PA who are released from incarceration, they can and may register and vote. And so if the Democrats are going to indict our great president, which, by the way, is uniting the American people together, then I want to make it clear that to anybody that's watching this, if you're from PA, you had a conviction, we want your vote. We are courting your vote. And I'm happy to, even if you come down here to the corner of Montgomery Avenue and Broad Street, I will personally register you to vote. Let's go.
Now, Scott, how important is voter registration? And are you seeing this? Is this a state-by-state issue where that's changing for former convicted felons or pending what the charge was, that they can then register to vote again?
So yeah, I had one gal that she was convicted in Wisconsin. I looked up the laws for her state. She's now here in Pennsylvania. She's going to be a first-time voter. So this education campaign is translating and producing results. But voter registration is the most important thing that we can do to win. We just registered a mother, Latina Ma, from Puerto Rico. She's never voted in the United States before here in the continental U.S. We just registered as a Republican for Philadelphia, and she'll be coming out in support of President Trump this November.
Wow, that's really fantastic. And where can people find you and find this voter registration drive that you're working on?
Thank you. You can follow me on X at Scott Pressler, SCOTTPRESLER. You can also follow my organization, which is Early Vote Action, and my organization's website is earlyvoteaction.com. And really, we need your financial contribution. If you want us to continue the work that we're doing, by the way, we're 720 voters from flipping Bucks County from blue to red, then please go to earlyvoteaction.com and support the work that we're doing financially.
That's fantastic. Scott, thank you for your time. We'll see you inside today. And safe travels.
Let's go.
Absolutely. God bless.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Had such excitement here, and you just might run into a local MAGA celebrity like Scott Pressler doing some incredible work to not only register voters, but to get out the vote. We're going to pan over to some more of the crowd here. It seems like we're lining up a bit and getting more people out here in the heat of the live action of what we're seeing here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But we'll take over here. Let's go talk to these gentlemen over here. Hey, gentlemen, how are you? Great. First Trump rally, how many have we been to? First one. Wonderful. Excellent. You from Philadelphia?
Yeah, Northeast.
Okay, excellent. Great. What has brought you out here today?
First time rally. I've been following Trump since the beginning, so since it's closer to me, I'm like, let me give it a shot.
And what excites you about President Trump and his policies?
I mean, I'm a truck driver, so it went with him, making money and stuff like that. It was just easy, being a truck driver, and the cost of living was better.
Oh, yes, sir. God bless you. How long have you been doing that?
16 years now.
Wow, fantastic. That's excellent. Well, thank you for your time. Enjoy today. Stay warm out there. Literally. Yeah, stay and enjoy the inside. Get some water. Looks like everyone's pretty. Make sure everyone is okay and enjoying themselves out here at the rally. And we got, sir, are you with the Republican Jewish Coalition? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Yeah. How are you? Bye, McNeely, RSBN.
Hi. I'm James Overstreet. I am the Pennsylvania field director for the RJC, and we're out here trying to get people, and we're supporting Israel and President Trump. So.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being out here. Is your first Trump rally?
It is, actually, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Are you a local?
I am. I am from Chester County, but I live in Philly. So
Thank you so much. We'll see you on in there. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. It's very good. Go pan this way. We're going to go a little bit down here and see more of the MAGA support that's been built up throughout Philadelphia, Pennsylvania today. We got guys. He's voting for a convicted felon. He's bold about it. This guy's a Cabela's fan, big time. And we got USA chants here, of course, at a MAGA rally. There is nothing like it. There's so much energy going on for President Trump, expecting his upcoming arrival. Of course, he has a speech today in Washington, D.C., and then he'll be right here in this convention center at Temple University on Montgomery Avenue in Philadelphia, PA. Absolutely. We'll cut to Nikki here with some more Trump supporters.
The way that they approach everybody, because number one, they understand the importance of voting, and we're going to talk about that in a moment, but they do it in a way that you don't feel like you're being bombarded. Like when you go to the mall and they're like, perfume, do you want to try it? No, it's very comfortable, and I've watched, and you are getting a lot of people to register. So tell me a little bit about what you guys do.
So we're the MAGA on Sol community. It's a crypto project. It's the MAGA movement on the blockchain. What we're doing is we're basically building up a collective community, right? And our utility is in our community, which is we're helping register voters because we need to do it at the ballot box. November 5th is extremely important. It's a battle between good and evil, and this is the day. So we came out, we met Scott Pressler today, and we're helping him because he's a legend. He's been out doing it himself, and we kind of wanted to, give him aid and effort to do so.
Well, we appreciate that. The thing is, we are such a vocal group, right? And you go to all of the rallies, you see all the support, you see all the love, but oftentimes it's just spoken up until, and then the day comes, and it's like, what do you mean you didn't vote, right? Or what do you mean you weren't registered and now it's too late? So you're making sure that that doesn't happen. And how do you do that? How do you make it happen for everybody?
So basically, it's just educating them, right? Because they really don't know. And then you got a lot of people that just get discouraged in regards to like, well, you know, I don't like either or, but so I'm not going to vote. And it's just like, well, do you know? All right, take the individual out. Vote on policy then. You know, do you want prosperity here in the United States? Do you want peace, worldwide peace? Because our crypto community has members from across the globe, people from Australia, Iran. It doesn't matter. They're like, we need Trump. You know what I mean? So if they're echoing that, you know what I mean, and they're not even in the United States, that speaks volumes.
Especially now, you know, because we talk about what's happening within our country, but I always say that President Trump is not just about uniting the country. He's about uniting the world. And by doing so, he will bring peace to Democrats and to Republicans. And I think that's one of the things. It's like he really wants to find that unity. And you echo that sentiment, don't you?
Absolutely. Peace for America, peace for the world.
It's Superman. You know what I mean? The world needs Superman right now. He is the guy that's going to do it. He's standing up to the deep state. Look at, he's proven it. They're throwing at the kitchen sink at him. I mean, they're basically, you know, messing up our entire judicial system because they're scrambling. They're scared because they see all of this. Look at all the support. You know, we were at the Las Vegas rally and it was huge. It was huge. And just you feel the love everywhere you go. I wear MAGA shirts and people are fist bumping me, high fiving. They feel the energy. They know now's the time. Now is the time.
I love hearing that. I always think of, do you remember Superman 2 when he lost his power to fall in love with Lois Lane? They had to take away his power and the whole world fell apart. They're like, we need you back. And I remember like literally things were blowing up. Everything was happening and he came back and obviously everything got fixed. And I often think about that analogy, which is funny that you said that. But I mean, how many rallies have you all been to? I'm curious.
Oh, this is going to be my first one right here. I'm super excited. I can't wait. Like I see him on TV, and I don't know. This is like seeing a superstar. This is seeing the most. I don't know. There's no words for it. There's no words. I can't wait. I just can't wait.
Have you ever seen a politician get this kind of reception?
No, definitely not. He's one in a million. I mean, like this fine gentleman said earlier,
reception, but for this long. Right? How many years are we now? 8 years?
Yeah.
This is his third time running.
8 years. He's been pulling crowds like this. And, you know, I don't know, I'm speechless. I've been to one, and it was the most amazing experience ever. And, you know, the love that you feel with everybody here, the camaraderie, people that aren't in the, you know, in the movement per se, they feel it too. They come just to check it out and they're like, man, these are like the nicest, coolest people I ever met, you know?
That is such a good point. I noticed that. Yeah, you know, I noticed that too. The first time I went, I thought, okay, I'm seeing a lot of diversity. I'm seeing every age. I'm seeing every possible racial group. I'm seeing unity. And I think
absolutely.
That's right.
So many times before I came down here, I had people tell me, be safe, watch your back. I have felt nothing but welcome and safe and loved by everybody here.
And you know, we have Secret Service everywhere. I always say, my mom, of course, always says, oh, be careful. And I always say, but Mommy, I'm surrounded by the Secret Service. I couldn't be safer. And it's a wonderful feeling to know that I've noticed in a lot of the cities, he will ask, and with his own money, not campaign money, with his own money, he will pay. He did that with Wildwood. He paid for an extra 20,000, I believe it was about 20,000 additional law enforcement on site to protect the people. And that's what it all comes down to, is protecting the people of our nation and wanting to make this nation great again. And that is what we all feel. And, you know, you said, like, everybody's peaceful, everybody's having a good time. And I try to say, like, when you watch other networks, you see these little clips and little things that people want you to see. Don't believe what they tell you to see, believe what you actually see.
And that's kind of what we do too, is we go in, so we listen to the mainstream narrative, right? And we battle it. So we'll go in, we'll interview people, and we'll get you know what I mean? And so they said that there wasn't that many people in the Las Vegas rally. What we did is we went right through the entire rally. Yeah, there was more than what they were saying, a lot more, you know?
And that's what it comes down to, is just living the truth, right? That's why Truth Social is so important. We hear what's really happening. And so I always encourage people, if you're not a supporter, if you're not registered to vote, get on board. doesn't mean nobody's telling you what you have to do as far as who you have to vote for. You make that informed decision, but a decision can't be informed unless you pay attention to both sides.
I got one more thing too. If you are registered to vote, join the MAGA movement, because there is plenty we can do. With Scott Pressler, we have the app. You can do cold calling. You can do door knocking, even if it's in your set out letters. I mean, right in your local community, you can make an impact.
I love hearing that.
Go ahead.
Scott's turned how many counties now across the country? He was a large part of the in Louisiana, the governor, and he's so effective in what he does, and the early vote action app that he has. It's everyone can get on, and everyone can send a letter across the country. I remember he called me last year. He said, Butler County, we're trying to flip it. Send letters, get people to send letters, call these numbers. And it's just super effective. And we're only 700 or so votes from flipping Bucks County after 20-some years of being Democrat. It's a swing county, but it's gone Democrat for 20-some years. And 600 votes or 720 votes from flipping it now, down from almost 20,000, I believe, not too long ago.
That is so impressive. I mean, that's what it comes down to, is just making a difference. People will say, oh, I'm just one person. I don't know what I'm going to do, so I'm probably not going to vote. I'm just one person. If everybody says that one person turns into that 700 something you're talking about.
5 letters.
Yes.
5 letters. Through the app, 5 letters. That's it. Everyone does that. We're flipping everything.
So just question, are you all registered to vote?
Absolutely.
Yes,
you know it.
You know it.
Okay, good. I'm glad about that. Well, it is so great talking to you guys, and I will make sure everybody hears about you. How can they find you once again?
MAGA on Soul. You can find us on Twitter. It's MAGA meme on Soul. And you can go scan the QR code and go right to our website.
I love it. Worldwide movement.
President Trump get back in office and help the whole MAGA movement, all the MAGA candidates. We're here doing the work, but we have supporters in every country who love Trump, and everybody's like, hey, we need to get this guy back in office. We got too many wars. We got too many problems all over the world. My wife's family is from overseas in Albania, and they're all like, there was no wars. Like, now the war is on our doorstep here, in Ukraine. And yes.
We miss world peace. We all do. It's not just America that misses it. We all miss world peace, and we want to see it again. And maybe if we all do our own due diligence as Americans, as citizens, then maybe we will finally see that world peace that we saw when President Trump was our president in office. We got to get him back in the White House, and that's the key. Thank you guys so much.
November 5th, we'll put them back.
Thank you guys so much. Love talking to all of you. This is what it's all about, friends. It's about getting out there and supporting the candidate that you believe in. And listen, I always say, you have to make that informed decision for yourself. I'm not here to tell you what you should or should not do. I'm just here to tell you to get informed, and we're here to inform you. That's the beauty of RSBN. I'm Nikki Stanzione. It's so great to be with all of you. I hope you follow me on Truth Social at Nick Stans. I love being here today with Bobby. Bobby McNeely and I are very excited to talk to people, because people are revved up. It doesn't matter how hot it is. It doesn't matter how sunny it is. Everybody's just ready to support President Trump today.
Oh, there's no question, Nikki. It's such a pleasure to be out here with you in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And there's some nice shade actually coming from the building that I think is going to hit the crowd. So that's going to be nice for everyone as they're lining up.
Yes.
That they will be able to be a little relaxed before we go in tonight. Also, just a reminder, President Trump has a speech in Washington, D.C. at 1:30. So he will be speaking before he visits Philadelphia, PA today, and we're looking forward to that.
That's the Faith and Freedom Coalition, the Road to Majority.
Road to Majority, a great conference of like-minded patriots, as you see here in this crowd in Philadelphia today.
That's the fun. You and I kind of touched on this earlier off camera, but the fun of having like-minded people around you, because you don't have to defend yourself. You can just speak what you feel and have somebody who understands it without feeling like you're being attacked or judged, but rather supported. And on that note, there are going to be people who are not going to be on the same side.
Absolutely.
And it's important to open your mind and your heart and your wisdom to hearing something that maybe wasn't your initial thought, right? Open-minded discussions that allow you to have an expansive understanding of something other than maybe what you've been told to believe.
There's no question. It's being It's disagreeing without being disagreeable, but here's a great way to initiate that with them. It's
Yes.
Birch Gold.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can convert with this group your 401k or your IRA into pure hard gold. And in uncertain economic times as we're in, it's important to think about things like that, and a great way to maybe share even with your liberal friends. It'll be charity. There's no question. So
doubt.
to go over to Birch Gold, please text Trump, Trump, to 989898. Again, that's Birch Gold.
Yes.
989898. And you can find a way to convert your 401k and IRA plans
Love that.
into pure gold, tangible that you can hold.
Perfectly said. And also, if you want to look like all of our fun supporters here today in your own favorite merchandise, because President Trump does love to share the merch. We saw it on, he does a lot of podcasts with a lot of very famous celebrities. We recently saw it with Logan Paul. He was giving him his Never Surrender shirt, and they called him, you know, they were like, you are a boss, right? He is all about making sure that if you are supportive and you want to share that support, you can show that support. So the new exclusive limited edition MAGA hat is fabulous. It's white. It's got like the flag within the words within the letters MAGA. And then you only have to just text HAT, H-A-T, to 88022. That's it. And you'll be able to get yours.
There
it's
you
limited,
go.
Though. Limited.
Very easy. And then if you're in the area, come on down Temple University, just off of, we are on Montgomery Avenue, Montgomery and Broad.
Oh, thank you for that.
All
Yes.
lined up, and right down the street, you're going to see amazing vendors. I mean,
Oh,
President
my
Trump
gosh,
is
we
creating
love-
jobs like no other, because these are, I mean, high quality hats, flags, signs. You got Turning Point Action just down the road here.
Right.
Really an exciting environment. And one of the greatest variety, as you're saying, of T-shirts, of different banners that I think I've personally seen, and I've seen
I
a
love
number of
them.
these speeches now.
No, we said that as we were walking in. We were like, whoa, I love everything today. They had the best. Listen, for the girls out there who want the fancy girl stuff like the bling, if you want the pink and the bling, you don't have to just wear red to support MAGA. You can actually wear cool pink, glittery, sparkling things too. There's that option.
And
just in
I'm
case
waiting to
you
see,
want it.
too, because the Bronx rally was exciting because
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
President Trump talked about he might get the gold trim in the teeth. We'll see if that happens.
grill.
There's
He
a
wants
lot
the
of
grill.
the grill, right? There's a lot of gold on these hats over here, these MAGA hats. So especially for the ladies and anyone who really wants to stand out, other than just the beautiful traditional red MAGA hat.
So
there's
true.
many different varieties, different coalitions out here supporting President Trump.
And I was saying also to Bobby earlier, I said, you know, with all of these people that are out here at every rally, selling the merchandise, sharing the different opportunities to buy different things, they're also being supported financially by President Trump because of his appearance and his presence in the cities that we're in. Everyone is also benefiting and profiting, making money as well. So I always say, if they're not a Trump supporter now, they certainly will become one because of him, now they're actually earning a little extra money on a weekend too.
And it seems interesting, Nikki, isn't it? Well, once one person steps out, maybe in a blue city like Philadelphia,
Yes.
it's amazing how when you step out there with boldness and you believe in whatever you believe in, you start to see allies
do.
come out and support you,
You
whatever
really
position
do.
it may be.
It's funny how I was talking to the guys about the registering to vote, and they were saying, it's like once somebody sees me in something and they recognize what I do and what I support, then I get that look, right? There's like that kind of look of knowing, like, oh, you're one of those too. I get it. And then all of a sudden you start to find out that so many more people than you ever knew were really on the same side. They were just afraid to say out loud. That's why President Trump often calls us the silent majority.
Well, that's what was fun about when he first ran. I can remember in 2015, and it was actually when I was working for Turning Point USA.
nice.
It was a wonderful time.
Yes.
And such a great organization.
Pre-COVID, pre-everything.
Pre-COVID, this incredible roller coaster we've been on in the last few years, but it was more of like this, like, hey, Nikki, I'm voting for him.
Yes,
And I'm like,
yes.
Why are we whispering? No one else can hear us. It wasn't in a big crowd like this.
Yes.
And you've seen that with the MAGA movement. That now perhaps is more vocal than it has been in the past, especially looking at all these people here already on a hot day in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's pretty
wild.
remarkable.
It really is. And we were actually saying, we know people love President Trump. We know how busy the rallies get. But what will happen when it's record-breaking heat? Will we see as many people? And the answer is obviously yes. We've got so many people here being supportive, being excited, and getting ready for an amazing speech tonight, which won't be until 7 p.m. Eastern, which also goes to show you how supportive they are. Because when we're early in the day like this, and this many people are already getting revved up, waiting in the heat, You know they're excited. It's like waiting, it's like waiting for a concert. I always liken this to people who don't know or who maybe weren't aware what it's like. I always say, just think about when you go to a concert and you wait for those tickets that you want to get, that you want to see. If it's first come, first serve, and you can get into the park or into the stadium easily.
Oh, no question. It's so interesting to watch. Sometimes I wonder, is it just President Trump's energy on the crowd? Is it the crowd's energy on him? Because this man's amazing.
Combo.
I mean, yeah, it just had a very happy birthday, President Trump, on Flag Day last week.
Yes.
78 years young, and he continues. He's going to have a speech at 1:30 in Washington, D.C., and then 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Philadelphia, PA. I mean, it's remarkable.
He's unstoppable.
He's nonstop.
He has more energy than anybody I know half his age, if not even younger than that. I mean, I know most of us don't have that kind of energy, and he absolutely does. And he loves what he does, and he says, I don't have to be doing this. I can be playing golf. I can be relaxing with my family. I can avoid all of these court cases, because let's face it, and we're not political pundits, but we will tell you, if you actually study the cases, and I implore you to do that. I always encourage everybody, really read the story, understand it. Don't just go by what one television network tells you to believe.
Oh, no question.
Really pay attention, because there's evidence, there's facts that are not always revealed, and when you see it.
Oh, no question. We're going to be back. We're cutting to break, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Perfect.
20 minutes or so.
We'll be back.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to the Right Side Broadcasting Network. We're not like the other media outlets out there that cut and edit what other people say. In 2015, we were created by our founder, Joe Seals, to cover President Donald J. Trump's speeches and rallies, to which we continue to do to this day. We've also covered important conservative events like CPAC, TPUSA, March for Life, and many other important events and hearings around the country. We were made for people like you, everyday Americans who are tired of the mainstream media, who are tired of being lied to, manipulated, and fed an agenda. Our goal here at Right Side Broadcasting is to allow you to see the truth, giving our correspondents and commentators a wide latitude to speak their minds. You won't find anything like this in the mainstream media. Your support through your donations, locals, and supporting our advertisers allows us to continue to cover important events around the country each and every day. So, from us here at Right Side Broadcasting, thank you for supporting us and the right side of history.
Good afternoon from Right Side Broadcasting Network. I'm Matthew Alvarez. You're watching live team coverage on this RSBN doubleheader. As you've seen, the coverage starting in Philadelphia. And as Bobby McNeely announced just a bit ago, the president will be speaking in Washington at the Faith and Freedom Coalition at 1:30. And then President Trump will travel 140 miles up to Philadelphia for a huge event tonight. I looked at some of the photos, the images of the Temple University Arena, and that thing could hold upwards of 10,000 people. It's going to be a loud place today in Philadelphia. So glad you're joining us here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Of course, Nikki Stanzione and Bobby McNeely live on the ground there in Philadelphia, bringing this team coverage today. It's been an awesome morning for some of us and afternoon for those of us in the East Coast, and looking at the noon at the top of the hour here in the Central Time Zone. Now, all of this is brought to you by the Birch Gold Group. A number of great sponsors we have in today's broadcast. One of them is the Birch Gold Group. Of course, all you got to do is text Trump to 989898. This is for an info kit. The info kit that you'll get will give you more information on how to have backup when it comes to gold, silver, and precious metals. The U.S. dollar may be losing its value slowly, and especially with these BRICS nations who are trying to use the local currencies instead of the United States dollar. So text Trump to 9998. Meantime, the state of Louisiana did some great things this past week. As you know, they enacted a law that will have the 10 Commandments be posted in all public schools. President Trump, he also praised this measure on Truth Social, saying, quote, that he loves the fact that there will be the 10 Commandments in all public classrooms. I also caught up with Pastor Mark Burns. He is in South Carolina and also running for Congress. Here's what he had to say. So, Pastor Mark Burns, thanks so much for joining us again. I can tell you, with Louisiana, that whole thing of them allowing the commandments to be in the classroom, you must be really thrilled about that.
I mean, this is a great day for the body of Christ throughout all of America. I mean, people are celebrating this. The Bible says in the last days, he will pour out his spirit, and my sons and daughters shall dream and prophesy. And I believe that this is God's last reproof. What President Trump becoming the 47th president, and laws like this that's happening in Louisiana, and God giving favor with people like me. I am, as you know, running for U.S. Congress, endorsed by President Donald Trump here in South Carolina's 3rd Congressional District, where God is calling real men of God who fear him, who honor his word, honor the 10 Commandments, where it's been placed inside every school classroom in Louisiana. This is, I believe, God's last reproof to save our nation.
Exactly, and I can agree with you more. I mean, at the end of the day, this country needs a revival. This country needs spirituality. This country needs God, needs Jesus, needs the Bible. Am I not right about it?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, there's but one way to the Father, and that is through his Son, Jesus Christ. Now, that doesn't exclude anybody that doesn't believe what we believe, because I know that there are so many different faiths that believe and support President Trump. But this is a Jesus nation. This is a God nation. It was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. And so this should be celebrated. My prayer is South Carolina follows suit and other states begin to follow suit to bring the 10 Commandments back into the schools and bring prayer back into the schools, because when there was prayer, there was less mass shootings. Children were not killing themselves at the alarming rate that they are now. People aren't being bullied as much like they are now. When God's presence was back in the school, we got to get back to the basics.
President Trump said recently on Truth Social about the 10 Commandments that I love the 10 Commandments in public schools, private schools, and many other places for that matter. Read it. How can we as a nation go wrong? This may be, in fact, the first major step in the revival of religion, which is desperately needed in our country. Bring back TTC MAGA 2024. Can you not say it better than that, Pastor?
You can't say it better than that. I mean, the president is away with words. When he did my endorsement video, he didn't have to do a second take or third take. He just did it one time because he is gifted in that area. And what he just said is powerful. This is the first stage of bringing God back to the center of American politics and American culture, which has been my theme of my campaign. So we are all here excited here at Mark Burns for Congress that God is doing this in Louisiana, and I believe it's a Kickstarter for what's going to happen in the rest of the United States of America.
And also all of the woke junk, basically, that's being thrown at the youth right now. I mean, this is a perfect time to change the tide and turn it around, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, again, the woke agenda, the critical race theory, pushing, transgender agendas, calling parents, domestic terrorism, pushing, like I said, the woke agenda that's using racism to supposedly defeat racism, that you can't use racism to beat racism. All of this is from the gates of hell. And they're pushing this agenda onto our children. So to see that Louisiana gets it, that we have to bring God. What has made our country great was that we were a nation that honored God. And that's, I'm going to see nothing but blessings coming out of Louisiana, because God is going to bless that state. But again, it's a launch pad to what's going to happen around the country. We got to combat the evil left and the evil policies that's coming from the gates of hell. President Trump is our leader in the policies to help us do that here in the greatest nation in the world we call the United States of America.
And how much are you praying for the president and praying for this country? I mean, I'm sure you're doing that daily.
Well, I mean, constant communication. I mean, my election is going to be in 2 days, June the 25th. And so I would be the first ever in the history of South Carolina's 3rd Congressional District, the first Black and preacher of the gospel of Jesus. I pastor every Sunday. The gospel is not a political cover for me. This is not some political talking point. Jesus is Messiah. There is no way but to the Father through the Son. And it is our job to lift up Jesus. So the Bible says, when we lift up Jesus, I'll draw all men to me. So, of course, I'm praying for President Trump. I talk to him all the time. I mean, I'm blessed to be very connected with him. And he got his eyes on this race. And so be praying for us as we come very close. I'm in a head-to-head race with a person, my opponent, Sherry Biggs, who's backed by Michael Bloomberg money, yet she's a Republican. These are the type of people that President Trump does not want to have in Congress. And so everybody that's watching this, go to markburns.org. markburns.org. Support the one and true MAGA, America First candidate. We are leading in the polls, but we need everybody's support, even at the last moment.
I wanted to get you on the whole lawfare situation going against President Trump. The fact of the strength that President Trump just continues to have must be from God and inner strength. I mean, is there anything else really, Pastor?
I mean, without question, the hand of God is upon his life. I've been saying that since 2015. I just didn't get started. That's why the president endorsed me so wholeheartedly. He trusts me so wholeheartedly because I've been faithful serving the one true living God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and through his son, Jesus Christ, but also advising spiritually his servant, a man by the name of Donald J. Trump, who has led this nation and leading this nation. Nobody can go through the hell that Donald Trump has and is and will continue to go through and still be standing strong. I mean, the day that they found him guilty and he had a press conference, I spoke to him literally moments after that on the phone. And the man seemed like nothing was even wrong, because it's not wrong. He understands, as I said to him, Mr. President, if God be for you, then who can be against you? Doesn't matter if the whole world's against you. The hand of God is falling upon President Trump. Luke chapter 2, verse 52, that he has found favor with God and with man. So this is God's doing for his life, and he's going to continue to excel.
Amen to that, Pastor. Also, one other quick thing. It seems like the left, they continue to try and pin us against each other in this country. It's been happening for decades. What would you like to say to the left wing if they're watching right now? They keep trying to pin us against each other. What say you, Pastor?
Well, again, as I said earlier, you cannot use racism to defeat racism. When you understand that racism comes from the gates of hell, it is a sin. It has nothing to do about the color of your skin. It has everything to do about the haves and the have-nots. And President Trump says, I'm not going to pander after no one race. My policies are for the human race, so that when the tide rise, all boats in the tide rise together. That means poor white people in Appalachia or some poor white communities and throughout the nation, especially in my own district of the 3rd Congressional District, but it also influences and includes poor Black families and poor Hispanic families in my same district and throughout the nation. They rise when the policies of President Trump is put into place they rise together. Racism comes from the gates of hell. That's why we got to eradicate critical race theory, eradicate the Marxist socialist ideology that one person is a victor or an oppressor and the other person is a victim. That is a Marxist socialist ideology that comes from the gates of hell, and we got to defeat it.
Amen. And at the end of the day, we know that every knee will bow and every tongue will confess Jesus Christ as Lord. Pastor, I couldn't take you away from here without you praying for us. So as the viewers are watching right now, those that are believers, again, Judeo-Christian believers, Pastor, if you can lead us in a prayer, then we'll close out the interview.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, we love you so much. Father, thank you for this nation we call the United States of America. Thank you for this victory in Louisiana, that now every school is required by law to post the 10 Commandments, your law that is found in the Torah, Father, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. Father, we thank you, Lord, that you are pouring out your spirit and that the legal system is turning their ways back to you, God. And I believe this is just the beginning to bring America back in alignment to you, the one true living God. So, Father, I ask you to bless our president, President Donald Trump, as he's prepared to speak today, as he's done countless of times throughout the nation, that you will continue to give him the strength, the words, the tenacity, the fight, the vigor to lead our nation back to you, God. Thank you, Master, that we build upon this win in Louisiana, that ultimately this is one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We thank you, Master Jesus. In your precious name we pray. It is so. Amen. It is so.
Amen. Pastor Mark Burns, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Pastor Mark Burns doing great things for this country. Pastor, thank you so much.
God bless you, sir.
Welcome back live. That was Pastor Mark Burns, a great interview just recently with him. And, you know, regardless if you pray on TV or if you pray at your house, regardless, it's still us seeking God together. So always a good thing to do that. So Pastor Mark Burns, thank you again for that interview. Now, South Carolina's primary run, the runoff election is actually this coming Tuesday. So those of you in South Carolina, make sure you get out and vote. That's this Tuesday. And as we maybe take a live look back there in Philadelphia, what I saw on the top of the signs there, it said Faith and Freedom. It's a Faith and Freedom coalition. And without faith and freedom, of course, we would have nothing. As you take that live look there, that actually says in Washington, D.C. So President Trump will be there to speak at 1:30 Eastern time. Then, as you might have heard at the beginning of this segment, he'll be traveling that 140 miles up to Philadelphia for a huge rally tonight. It's going to be a great time. As you can see, the crowd earlier, too, with Bobby McNeely and Nikki Stanzione already out there. Obviously, those of you in the Northeast dealing with quite a heat wave. I'm pretty sure it's still kicking up there, at least at 80 something to 90 degrees. So a lot of people still waiting for President Trump there. You see that exclusive there with 1775 coffee. I just wanted to say something real quick. I'm not sure if Nikki can hear me or not, but you might have heard her how she pronounces coffee. It's coffee. It's coffee. But I know she's from New Jersey. My family, some of them are from New Jersey, so you could say coffee if you want. But a great company there as well, 1775 coffee. Now, back to business here in Pennsylvania. What's up for grabs is 19 electoral votes in the Keystone State. And as you know, you can look at the map of Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, and you see a lot of red there. There's a few blue spots, right? 3 blue spots that are kind of small, and it's Pittsburgh, State College, and Philadelphia. But what we're seeing there, boots on the ground in Philadelphia right now, are people going towards the red, right? So what does it really look like in these cities? I mean, as you heard before, one of the people that Bobby McNeely was interviewing said he was in the Bronx, as I was for Right Side Broadcasting Network. And that city there, talk about blue, it's a very blue city, but a lot of MAGA supporters. Now, again, MAGA stands for so many things, from God to the Constitution to freedom, right? To our healthy, striving economy, to a strong military, to law and order, to pro-immigration laws, right? So it all coincides with what this country was founded on. So when you hear MAGA, it's just you know, a lot of the times on the left, their false narrative, of course, they keep trying to push the lies of what that really means. And this isn't just to promote my Truth Social page. I love Truth Social. Thank you, President Trump and Devin Nunes, for creating that, and others that work on that awesome social media site. But on my Truth Social, at Matthew Alvarez, I posted something from Mark Robinson, who spoke just yesterday at that Faith and Freedom Coalition. If you want to get some serious encouragement, not only did you hear it from Pastor Mark Burns, not only, of course, we will hear it from the legend himself, President Trump, here today at 1:30 and at 7 right here on Right Side. Mark Robinson's speech, my jaw hit the floor. This guy, talk about truth and delivering it in such a fervor. So once again, it's at Matthew Alvarez. It's one of my newer posts there if you want to take a look at that and spread that around. Whether it's from my post or you find it somewhere else, just watch that speech from Mark Robinson just yesterday, the lieutenant governor in North Carolina, running for governor as well there. So back up here in the Washington, D.C. area and Philadelphia, of course, a Northeast tour for the president. 2 stops today. We have live team coverage. We'll be going right back out there for you. I know that's exactly why you guys tune in. You want to see the crowds. You want to see the lines of people and also hear the president's speech. So we'll be getting ready to toss it back here to Nikki Stanzione and Bobby McNeely, who will be taking over our live coverage shortly. I do also want to tell you about someone else I interviewed that you'll be hearing from later today on the Philadelphia broadcast. It'll be from Carla Sands. She's the former ambassador to Denmark under the Trump administration, the first Trump administration. She's also with the America First Policy Institute. She is the chair of the Pennsylvania chapter. So Carla Sands, we'll be talking to her about those 3 blue cities in Pennsylvania and what needs to be done to make things go red. Let's send it back to Nikki Stanzione and Bobby.
Here we are live in the city of brotherly love here in Philadelphia, ready to see what happens when everybody comes together to support their favorite president, Donald J. Trump. I'm Nikki Stanzione, everybody, and this Nick is with this chick. His name is Chick. Nice to meet you, Chick.
Thank you. Nice talking with you.
I was talking to you before off camera, and you were telling me that you have a very special lady you'd like to kind of give a shout out to. Tell me about her.
Her name is Carol Sexton. She's 80 years old. She is the most patriotic person you will ever meet. She has actually sung the national anthem at a Trump campaign. And I know she'll be watching this because if she's not at the campaign, she's watching RSBN. So shout out to Carol. I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about this interview later.
Well, see, what I love, and you talk about her being 80, I just talked to somebody who voted for President Trump for his very first time because he turned 18 at the last election. So when you think about the vast array of support that he receives from every age group, it really speaks to the fact that he's appealing to a lot of different people.
Well, there's no question about it. And just about every demographic group there is, the polls are up. Not that I would take a poll to the bank, but he won in 16 with 2% in the polls. So 2024 is looking good.
It is looking good. And so you came out here. It is a hot day here in Philadelphia. There's no doubt about it. But people come out because they want to show their support. What was it that kind of led you to come here today, even despite being one of the hottest days on record in Pennsylvania?
Well, I'm really excited about the system that they're putting in place, Trump Force 47. I signed up as a captain in Trump Force 47, and the emails came through, and they said, if you're going to be at the rally, let us know. And then I said, well, you know, maybe I should go to the rally now that I'm a captain. So that's why I'm here, and looking forward to a good time.
Well, good for you. It's so good to talk to you, and I hope that you stay cool. And I hope that you enjoy every minute of it because these get-togethers are like a real love fest, as President Trump likes to say.
They are. You make a lot of friends here, and it's encouraging to be in a group of people where you think alike, you know, and your values are similar. You know, walking up and down the street, you can be talking to anybody, and they have unkind things to say to you, but this is it's a bit of a love fest.
I was thinking the same thing. In fact, I actually said that earlier, that there's this like-mindedness, and even if there's a difference in thoughts, people kind of are more open to hearing different opinions. And here we're seeing every age group. We're seeing black, white. We're seeing Indonesians for Trump. We're seeing Vietnamese for Trump. We're seeing Hispanics for Trump, women for Trump. Really, like every single possible group of every economic background, cultural background, and age. And I think that's what we want to share with the country, is that it's not just one particular group that loves this movement, if you will.
And the Dems are helping us in this election. I mean, we ought to give somebody an award for making all the right moves.
Well, Chick, it was so good to talk to you. I'm Nikki. It's so good to talk to you today. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you. We said women, right? Let's talk to some of the women. Hi, ladies. How are you girls today? Looking good. Would you like to tell our viewing audience at RSBN, we're Right Side Broadcast Network. We speak to the people who are maybe first figuring out why they're loving President Trump, or maybe they've been a long-time supporter and they want to talk to and see and hear from others with a similar thought pattern, if you will. What brought you out here today in this crazy heat?
President Trump. This is the reason. Save America. And this is our 5th rally.
Your 5th? Yes. Really? So what was the last one that you were at?
Wildwood.
I was in Wildwood. Wildwood was amazing.
We were there a day and a night. We slept out on the street.
We keep going in every rally we can go.
You went to Washington. So President Trump is actually about to speak in Washington, D.C. today at 1:30, and then he will come here to Philadelphia and speak at 7 p.m. What are some of the issues that you really want him to tackle at the top of the list?
The wall, the economy, what else? Everything. Everything is down the drain. He's got to bring everything.
He is his own man. He doesn't have anybody to tell him what to do. Okay, that's what we trust.
Oh, everybody's marching. Okay. Everybody's...
Dave McCormick is our man. Yes. Dave McCormick, Delaware County.
Yes, we got to get everybody in. We got to load up the House. We've got to load up the Senate.
Get rid of Scanlon.
Well, I'm glad that you're here supporting President Trump today, too. And I hope that we all have a chance to make America great again. That's what it's about.
What network are you this?
We're on live right now. We're on RSBN. So you can watch RSBN. For those of you who are watching, you can see RSBN on the app. I highly encourage you to get the app. And then we also can see on Rumble, and you can also see on YouTube. They're marching by with, I believe, it says, what does it say? Chinese fight for Trump? Is that... Yeah, listen, every group of people from everywhere. We want to see a safe world, and that's why so many people are here.
Register as a volunteer, poll watcher.
Thank you.
Yes.
Where are you ladies from originally?
I'm from Greece. We are both from Greece.
From Greece,
Yes. You know what else? When I was getting my papers ready to come to America, they asked, one of the questions was, what is your political affiliations? Yes. And we had to pass 2 tests. 2 doctors had to see us before we got there ready to come.
This is Greece, straight from Greece. In Greece?
She's here. She's FaceTiming from Greece. So does that mean that President Trump has a lot of fans in Greece?
Yes. Everybody hits Biden. See it that way. They destroy our countries. Greece too. I told them.
So now we know that our fans and friends in Greece, by the way, my favorite food in Greece. But I want to say this, because now we know that we have supporters and love from Greece. I want to ask you this, as somebody who came here legally and went through the process, how does it make you feel when you see what's going on at the border?
I do not like it. I do not like it. Every person should be registered. Every person should have an ID. And when you go vote, you should show your ID, guaranteed.
We came 19 years old. I'm not saying my age now.
And we have
but
been friends
we
since 1954.
Exactly. We came legal, we work hard, and now he brings us all these illegals, and they take in our Social Security, our money, our housing, everything for free, and this is wrong. We need some help here too. And to stop sending our money to Ukraine. Help Israel.
Stop Ukraine. Stop sending the money there.
We need to help America first.
Yes,
America first, but from Ukraine he takes money. They split our money. Ukraine, Zelensky and Biden family, they split our money.
You know, I love hearing you say that what you're saying about coming here, though, legally, because a lot of people will hear, you know, President Trump's rhetoric and they think, oh, he doesn't want immigrants. No, that's not true. He loves the melting pot of America. Look at his family. Look at his family. Exactly. So when you think about that.
All this, they try to put him in jail for what reason? Because he's trying to help us so they can win votes. We have Sleepy Joe on doing nothing for us. And I tell everybody this, even my little nieces, they call him Sleepy Joe.
No more Sleepy Joe. I love it. Opa, I love you girls. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to meet you. This is what it's all about. It's about seeing people like these beautiful ladies who come here from another country. They're proud Americans now because they migrated here legally and they just want to see their country be great. They came here for a reason and they didn't get the free handouts that the people are getting by coming here illegally. And that's what it's about. It's not about preventing people from coming to the country. We want that. That's what makes America so great. It's about preventing people from doing it unlawfully. And that's why we're so glad to see supporters like you. Tell our friends in Greece that we all said hello. I love it. Thank you, ladies. So sweet. Oh, I see that Bobby has some friends here. Yeah.
Justin and Carmen, thank you, Nikki. We're having some fun with husband and wife, correct? And it's your first MAGA rally? Great, and they're locals as well. So, you know, Justin, tell me about what you're seeing here in the Philadelphia area.
So Philadelphia is always a place where it leans kind of liberal. But just, you know, talking to my neighbors and different people that I encounter, you'll see in Philadelphia that a lot of people, they tend to be afraid to say the name Trump, but they agree with everything he's saying. So I feel like it's going to get to a point where they go into the ballot and they say, nobody's around, Trump.
That's really interesting, too. So it's more of like a whispering process that's going on and everything. Carmen, do you find that with, say, the female vote or just amongst your friends? Is it a similar reaction to what Justin's seeing of people kind of whispering, hey, I'm going to vote for President Trump, but, you know, I don't really want people knowing about it?
Yeah, I think so. I think a lot of women are secretly, a lot of my friends, they'll tell me because they know I'm open about it. Right. So they'll tell me how they feel, but they're just like, don't say anything out loud.
And what's that been like? Has there been backlash amongst friends because you're supporting Donald Trump and the MAGA movement?
I think early on there was a lot of backlash, and it turned into a, you know, he was vilified. So I think now people are looking at the inflation, they're looking at what's going on, and they're like, he was right all along, she was right all along. Tell me more. You're right.
And now, have you both been involved in politics for a long time, or was this more of just being involved with the MAGA movement?
So I think I could say right before Trump started running for president, I became more interested in it. And once he started talking, it made sense to me. It made sense what he was saying, and that made me more interested in politics. And I was like, okay, I really need to know what's going on in this country. And so that was more when I became more engulfed in it.
Yeah, it's so interesting, and we seem to see that happening perhaps in the mid-Atlantic states, in New England, like we were talking earlier, that in these traditional Democrat areas, people are somewhat abandoning the party affiliation and more enjoying what President Trump did and what we'll propose to do. Have you heard, too, he has made proposals about no new taxes or any taxes on those making tips?
Absolutely, and I think that's, I mean, you mentioned tax in this country, and people are automatically, their ears are going to perk up. And I think no tax on tips is Trump.
Well, thank you both so much, Justin and Carmen. I don't want you to lose your spot in the line. We're going to keep walking down here with y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful time today. First MAGA rally. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And you see the excitement here, and now we have a nice shade coming over the building. And, we got we got...
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Definitely New Yorkers for Trump.
Wait, are you New Yorkers? Me too. City. Okay, wait.
Did you do the travel today? This is incredible. Yeah, here we go.
Okay, wait. I want... Wait, come here for a second. You are a doll. I can tell. You have such a beautiful spirit about you. I love it. What's your name?
Aura.
Aura? Yes. That's perfect. It was meant to be. So everyone that's watching right now is seeing so much enthusiasm from all of you. Tell me a little bit about your group and your crew.
We travel from New York to support President Trump, the people's president, the only one who can save the United States of America from destruction from within by the radical left and the Democrats that want to destroy this country without realizing that if we lose this country, they have no place to go. Trump 2024, alabío, alabao, alabim, bao, Trump, Trump,
I love it! What a fun, happy group. And do you see how happy they are? Do you see the peace? This is what it's about.
We don't hate anyone. We love everyone. The left hates, but we love. You see, and we have people here. Everybody here. They want to divide us by skin color, by national origin, by gender, but we all bleed red.
Yep. And we all love everybody. Everybody. And look, we're Asian, black, Jewish, Spanish. We got it all. Where's the racism? Tell me. Where is it?
That is what we want to see. We want to see representation.
First rally. First rally.
Yes, Trump. Trump. 2024 Trump.
Yeah. We are colorblind. We are all Americans. They say Trump is racist, which is nonsense, because we know Trump is a common sense president. We all, we are blind. We are colorblind. Don't divide us by color, okay? We all Americans. We love this country. We fight for this country, and Trump is fighting for us. That's why.
Oh, well said. I love hearing this. And
Trump 2024, Trump 2024, Trump 2024,
Latinos for Trump, baby.
Love it. Latinos for Trump. I see pro-Israel, pro-Trump. I see your pin. I hear you say Latinos for Trump. Where are you coming here from?
I'm from out in the suburbs. I thought there was supposed to be nobody here today. That's what they said. Nobody. No support for Trump in Philadelphia at all. It's so weird that it seems like there's thousands of people here. I am shocked. This is shocking.
It's called the truth, right?
Not surprised at all. If you vote your values and you are a moral person, you'll vote for Trump.
Well said. You know what? That's it. Thank you for that. Voting your values. That was a really good way to put it. Voting your values. I really haven't heard it that way, and I kind of love it. And I love seeing everybody on this line so patriotic, so excited. Ooh, there's a fan. That was exciting. I don't mean fans of Trump. I mean fan that blew me away. This is what it's all about, is seeing everybody here having a good time. And by the way, if you weren't following the news, a massive hit to the U.S. dollar just came in June when Saudi Arabia did not renew its 50-year petrodollar deal with the U.S. Since 1974, Saudi Arabia has sold solely their oil in U.S. dollars. That was a huge, huge blow to our global economic dominance. And now they want options other than the U.S. dollar. So I ask you this, if there is less demand for the dollar, what happens to the dollar, right? That's the question. Well, look, it's reasons like this that Americans turn to Birch Gold Group. For over 20 years, Birch Gold has helped tens of thousands of Americans to be able to protect their savings by converting an IRA or a 401k into an IRA into physical gold. So to learn more, it's very simple. You just text the word of the day, Trump, and you text that word to 989898, and you'll claim your free, no obligation info kit on gold. That's Trump to 989898. And Birch Gold has earned my trust with their education, with their first approach, their thousands of happy customers, and of course their countless 5-star reviews, which we really appreciate. You can protect your savings with gold before the dollar plunges any further. Just text Trump to 989898, and it's that simple. And by the way, we are standing here with so many people online. Everybody's excited. It's a happy group, right? Are you happy to be here today?
Absolutely. It's very exciting to be here today.
Well, we're happy to have you here. I know President Trump will be happy. Seeing all of these people show their support, show their patriotism and love of country. And you hear so many reports around the country on mainstream media and different places, and you watch and you go, that's not my experience of President Trump. President Trump loves everybody. And those those rallies are not protests. They're peaceful, happy, joyful occasions, right?
Everybody's getting along, loving each other. Yep.
It's all about love.
So we love to. Somebody was saying sometimes when you see other sides, you hear this hateful speech and hate, and the Trump crew loves to love.
Yeah.
Love America, very patriotic. Yeah.
Are you all from Philadelphia?
I'm in the suburbs.
Bucks County. Yeah.
So was it a surprise to you that President Trump was coming here, knowing it's traditionally a bluer city?
Not a surprise at all. President Trump will go anywhere.
He's in the trenches right now, where historically, he's not welcome. They don't vote for him here. But he's coming here trying to earn them votes.
You notice that President Trump is spending this whole week leading up to the debate talking to the American people, whereas the person who's residing in the White House right now is now on another vacation for the week. He's either on the beach, he's at Camp David, he's practicing. Listen, I can't imagine having a job where they let me have a week off to go practice a meeting.
Yes. Yeah, and they, who knows, but they probably are giving him the questions in advance. They're preparing him for this debate.
What do you think we're going to see on Thursday night? Do you think President Trump's going to dominate?
What, at the debate?
Yes.
Well, I was thinking this morning, like, it's crazy. Like, now all of a sudden we got these the debates have been the debates for years. Now we got all these new special rules. It's ridiculous.
No audience. No, nothing.
They're going to shut the microphone down when he's not speaking.
Well,
Trump, I don't think I could have gone in there with it being so one-sided.
Well, he said he was calling their bluff, basically, because he expected them to say, this is what it is, and they expected him to say, oh, no way. But instead, he said, all right, I'm in. And now they're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, that's why I love the man. Like, all the trials and tribulations they put him through, that's why I respect him so much, too, is because he hasn't flinched or changed his way he looks at things or anything.
He doesn't back down. And that's the kind of leader we need, right? Somebody who doesn't back down, because we don't want him backing down to other nations and other countries or anybody that's trying to hurt America.
Oh, when he was president, there was no wars in the world at all. Now look at situations. Yeah.
You had world peace. And I love, when you hear chants for your own country, I live in New York and in New Jersey. I'm in New Jersey and New York a lot. And you hear a lot of chants for other nations. And listen, we welcome all people from everywhere legally. But here in USA, that's what it's about. Thank you guys for talking to me. So good to meet you. This is RSBN.
The Republican what?
Right Side Broadcast Network. We're on the right side. We are on live stream. So for those of you that are watching Right Side Broadcast Network, you can go to our website, rightsidebroadcastnetwork.com. But you can also download the app. That's what I do. And you can watch every single live rally. Everything that President Trump does, we broadcast it. Start to finish, we show all the crowds, all the crowd interviews. And you can go to Rumble or YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, just go to the RSBN page. And you can read the chat and you can type in and have a good time with it. Yeah, nice to meet you.
There's many reasons to vote for Trump. This is one of them, which is where he will...
Hold that thought.
The energy. I love it. Great talking to you guys. We might catch you in a bit. Absolutely. Definitely. Sure, what's your name?
Veronica.
Veronica. Hi, McNeely. Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you as well.
Thank you.
Is what looks like, it is a Trump. Oh, The balloon popped. The Trump protesters' balloon has popped.
It's a victory. Victory for the USA. I feel like we're at the Olympics.
And what's so cool about this, Nikki, is this is what the First Amendment is all about.
Yes.
People protest, having fun with it. Clearly it's peaceful, it's patriotic.
Yes.
There's a little bit of banter, back and forth here. But you got to give credit to protester for having the wherewithal to come out here and celebrate our First Amendment. Right?
That's right. Listen, at the end of the day, the USA roar will always trump the non-USA roars, right?
No question.
So I always find it funny that the name Trump means to overpower, to dominate, right? So when you say, well, that really trumps that, you use it as a verb to say that it's taking over.
Oh, no question.
So I kind of love the fact that it's his name.
Oh, absolutely. And Nikki, what I'm seeing here too is that it looks like some homemade flags of
nice.
USA and some Jewish support for President Trump. So we have a lot of that going on. And that's been a key issue, I think, for a lot of the Jewish community. We spoke to a few earlier in the day. The Israel-Palestinian conflict has been on the mind of many voters. Many U.S. citizens have family affected in that area, in a terribly war-torn area. And that's what we saw back when President Trump was president. There was peace and prosperity. We've seen new wars under President Joe Biden, and I think that's why you have so many people out here passionate to stand out in the heat in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to come to a Trump rally. And again, it just really admiring
to this.
Admiring the crowd, but also
power.
I do admire the First Amendment rights of the protester coming into an environment that's very pro-Trump, as you can clearly see. Hey, Veronica, I wanted to get you on here.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got Veronica, who is registering voters.
Yes.
Throughout Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Excellent. And how long have you been doing this for?
So I just joined Trump Force 27 2 weeks ago in Montgomery County, and I am a captain for the Trump campaign. So
fantastic. Now, what is that like for those who may not be volunteering, maybe thinking about volunteering on a presidential campaign?
Well, listen, it's critical. We have to swamp the vote early, and if you have time, listen, we need our country back, and we're the critical force on the lowest level. That's where it starts. So it's needed for sure.
That's great. And Veronica, you're from Philadelphia originally? Or?
I am from Delaware County. I was served in the military. I just retired as a federal agent out of Quantico. So I served 2 wars for our nation, Iraq and Afghanistan, and I love our country.
Oh, God bless you. That's fantastic. Now, how would people get involved with either the Trump Force 47 or just voter registration drives, or just simply volunteering in the campaign?
Yes, TrumpForce27.com. Go there. Go to your local Republican office. Everyone has it. We're looking to get 10 of us to get 10 more. That's all they're requiring. And it's a phenomenal program, because what we've seen in the past is we had many registered Republican voters who donated to the campaign, but who never voted. So it's just getting those people out where there's early ballot. Montgomery County, you can vote in person prior to the election, getting people registered,
Oh, they all have flags.
Okay.
So much energy. And we're hours before. President Trump again is coming out 1:30 in Washington, D.C. And he's expected to speak here tonight. We got a caravan of MAGA trucks, MAGA cars. We got flags everywhere flying. He's not speaking till 7 o'clock tonight in Philadelphia. Of course, in a few minutes, he'll be in Washington, D.C. And Veronica, I think we're about to wrap here. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And then, is there anything else for the early voting, the voting the day of? Do you have any recommendations?
Early voting, turn in ballot this election. We do need to see who is voting, who we already got, so then we can focus the campaign on who we need. And just God bless America. God bless Trump.
Thanks. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Great to meet you. Absolutely. Enjoy today.
About the wardrobe around here, I gotta tell you, people are all decked out, looking good in their Trump merch. And speaking of, how would you like to have a limited edition MAGA hat? A MAGA hat it's white, that says MAGA in the flag kind of vibe. That's kind of the style. And it's limited edition, which means not a lot of people will have it. So you'll want to get on top of that very quickly by going to, this is it, it's very simple, text HAT, H-A-T, easy, and text HAT to 88022. 88022. Text the word hat and get your limited edition.
I love that. And I can tell you this hat, although there's great designs out here today, some independent designs, there's nothing like this hat. So it will be a great addition to your collection. And again, I just mentioned, I think we're about roughly 10 minutes away from President Trump speaking in Washington, D.C. He is then coming here to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania for a 7 o'clock speech for a MAGA rally at Temple University. The shade is hitting the crowd right now.
It feels good right now,
so
a little
as
breeze.
You can see, we're seeing more people come out. We're seeing a lot of activity. If you're just turning into our station now, you notice perhaps some noise, and there is a protester that's been here since the beginning of today, since we got out here. And she's brave, she's bold.
One person.
Again, a peaceful, strong, loud MAGA crowd. Who there's a balloon that popped.
I will say this: it's amazing when you see the majority of the people that are here in a blue city are all about Trump. Very, very few people on the other side, and the few people that are, they try to make their voices heard, but nothing trumps the power of a Trump crowd, because you're going to hear, as you just did, the levels of volume and excitement, because that's the thing. Love always trumps the non.
And you can hear it now, USA.
There you go.
There is so much patriotic energy.
Wow.
Right off the heels of President Trump's birthday, and so much happening. We're coming up to the 4th of July, ladies and gentlemen. It's an American summer. It's an all-American summer here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
How exciting is this?
And I want to thank our police officers again.
Thank you to law enforcement.
Secret Service, the men and women in blue, our military, a lot of veterans in this crowd today that we spoke to. They're outstanding.
Now, you're hearing a lot of motorcycles. I just wanted to let everybody know, I'm watching them as they go by. They all have American flags on the back of their motorcycles. It's like the movie, it's like Bike Riders for Trump, right? I love seeing that. It's exciting. And you see all these beautiful flags, as you said. You see so much excitement. You see tremendous patriotism and enthusiasm. And I just think it's exciting when you hear people actually chanting for their own country. You know, we'll see other people, chanting for their countries in our country. I'm all for, as we talked about earlier with everybody here,
Absolutely.
We're all for the melting pot that is America.
No question.
But come here legally. Do it right, and come here for the right reasons, and treat our country with the respect that it treated you by allowing you in.
Absolutely. And that's a good point, because we're in very uncertain economic times, and there's a great way to protect yourself. It's through Birch Gold.
Yes.
And you can get a handle on Birch Gold by simply texting Trump to 989898. And now look, there's great ways to convert your 401k, your IRA into soluble, tangible gold. You can hold in your hands. You're not investing in something that's invisible.
Right.
Gold is here to stay. And because of these uncertain times, because of the 50-year tradition of Saudi Arabia buying into the petrodollar, or the United States dominating global markets, that's changing now. Saudi Arabia is buying its oil preserves with China. They're using the yuan right now. They're not using the American dollar. So it's smart. Go for Birch Gold and text Trump to 989898. Secure your future. Convert that 401k or IRA if it's necessary for you.
So good.
And secure your future.
Listen, gold is one of the best commodities of our, not of our time, but of all time. And
no question.
I always say that, the one thing when you see a lot of unsteadiness in the market, which we always do, one thing that remains to be solid is solid gold, right?
Absolutely.
So we love that. I really have to say, I'm invigorated by the spirit here today. It's a hot day. You would think people would be sluggish or tired or no. It's like the energy is alive and well. It's exciting. It's invigorating. It's patriotic. And we are standing here amongst people who are truly proud to support the America First agenda.
Right. It's really amazing, Nikki. And that's what is so neat to be reminded of and to see. It's just simply the energy of loving the United States. Something that really beckons the call of the city we're standing in. From 1790 to 1800, this was our nation's capital.
Yes.
In 1776, on a very hot day like this, on July 4th, they signed that Declaration of Independence. It was closed windows. It was probably terribly smelly in there. But they did something that enhanced even something greater than the Magna Carta in 1215. our founders had a vision for this nation. And you see that in the energy nearly 250 years later in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, such a historical place.
Well, and this week is interesting in particular, talking about what to your point, really, you think about what's happening with the Constitution and wanting to share and display the Constitution in Louisiana, what they're doing right now, and yet you see other people fighting that, and you say, well, what could be bad about openly sharing with the children of the world in the schools, letting people in their states and cities understand what the Constitution really truly was intended to do for our nation? And when you see people against it, you have to wonder what their motives are.
No question, absolutely. Because it seems to be, as we're talking to people here, it's not so much party ideology. It's not so much of Republican versus Democrat. It's more of common sense principles and principles that brought people who are not necessarily politicos until this moment, until now. And it goes beyond even Donald Trump, as energetic as he is, not just one man, but a larger movement of people who believe in freedom, who believe in the founding documents, who believe in simply common sense.
And that's actually what President Trump says, and you'll probably hear him say it today and tonight. When he talks about the party, he says, I'm not even really talking as a conservative, I'm just about common sense. And he also, one of the things I love that he does, and those who don't follow him as closely as maybe you and I do, one of the things that's so important, he always will say, it's not my campaign, it's not my presidency, I'm not going to win the White House. We are. It's our movement. It's our presidency, because this is something that I'm doing for all of us, not just for myself. And he wants that unity back in the country. But remember, he was supported by all the liberal Democrats for most of his life until he ran for president.
Oh, there's no question. Actually, one of my favorite books is The Letters to Trump.
Oh, I love the Letters to Trump.
That's a good chuckle and a good education. If you have letters from people, keep them. They might change their mind over time. But to your point, Nikki, about these different, this is my first time having the pleasure and privilege to cover with you a Trump rally. But being to some of these speeches in the past, especially amongst young people and students, it's so neat to see a president talk about, I see people in the crowd that are not only leaders, but who will be standing here one day.
Oh, I love that.
What president talks, quite frankly, about that?
That's why they love him.
That's why they love him. We want Trump. That's what you're hearing from the crowd.
I remember in 2020 when he was on the campaign trail and they started the whole "We Love Trump" chant. And one night I remember specifically watching him getting very emotional. He was very touched. It was one of the earlier times that he had heard that chant. And everybody started saying, "We love Trump, we love Trump." And he stood there and I saw him get overwhelmed.
Right.
And he doesn't get overwhelmed by a lot because he's such a warrior. But I saw him kind of take it in. And I don't know if he got teary-eyed, but I know he got choked up a little. And he said, wow, thank you. And who out there wouldn't want to be led, I use the word led really, really intentionally, led by somebody as their leader who is not only going to be strong and bold, but also compassionate. And vulnerable from time to time.
And that's why it's such a privilege for us here, Nikki, if I may speak on your behalf,
yes, please.
RSBN being out here to really cover on the ground so you can see, if you haven't been to a rally, what it's like to be at a rally, or if you have, just to relive it and to be connected throughout the country, throughout the world, and to be very excited about this. Is it your first MAGA rally?
Wow.
You want to join and have a quick...
Yeah, you almost walked on camera. You might as well get on camera.
Tell us what you're seeing out there.
She's very excited.
Great support and awesomeness.
That's fantastic. What's your name?
My name is Jenna.
Hi, Jenna. From Philadelphia?
No, I'm from Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And what brought you out? What brought you out here to the MAGA rally?
To support and hope for a better future.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it. Absolutely.
And I love that she just said where she's from. Because when we hear Delaware often, we hear the current president who's residing in the White House. We talk about President Biden being from Delaware, and they kind of say, when they were talking about the Hunter Biden trial, there was a lot of talk about, they kind of own Delaware, right? They're kind of like, so, I love seeing Trump supporters that are from Delaware, because it tells you it doesn't matter where you're from, pro President Trump or not.
Right.
Everybody believes in what they believe in and has that right. And that's the beauty. We cannot stifle America from being able to share their viewpoints from an informed place. That's what this is about.
Oh, no question. Remember the Tea Party movement, too. You go back to 2010.
Yes.
Someone like Senator Scott Brown, who was a great ambassador in the Trump administration, he ran in Massachusetts and won in the Ted Kennedy seat. And he said, wait a second. this is not someone's seat. This is the
Right.
people's seat. You know, we are temporary holders of an office,
Yes.
and you have people like President Trump and his team who deeply believes that they are temporary servants in these offices.
That's
so
it.
fantastic.
That's it. I have a question.
Yes.
Do you drink coffee?
I drink coffee. We're having a debate. Is it coffee or coffee? We'd love to get a text message going or a poll going amongst our viewers.
I bet President Trump says coffee.
I bet he does too, being a New Yorker. But that's my native Chicagoland accent.
Yeah.
Coffee.
But nobody likes crappy coffee, right?
Oh, no.
Nobody likes crappy coffee. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why you don't want to have crappy coffee, because 1775 coffee is a whole next level. I mean, you're about to experience coffee on a whole new level than you ever have before. It's actually really fun because I know out there a lot of people cannot even start their day without their coffee. My family's like that.
Right.
They can't even function without it. So 1775's beans are actually exclusively sourced from the finest and the high altitude coffee farms of Bolivia.
Wow.
It's interesting, right? 1775 Coffee Company's farm to cup journey ensures the highest quality from bean to cup. Say goodbye to burnt coffee beans. Nobody wants that. And start your morning with the smoothest coffee on the market, roasting to exacting standards, right? That's important. It's actually named after the year that sparked
Okay.
a revolution, 1775.
There you go.
And it's not just a coffee company. Like MAGA, it's a movement, right? And so we believe in the power of free speech and the strength of community, which is why 1775 Coffee Company is the exclusive coffee of Rumble and its freedom-loving content creators.
Fantastic.
You can actually find RSBN, by the way, on Rumble. Safeguarding our First Amendment rights is more critical than ever, and every cup of 1775 coffee is going to support Rumble's quest to give the world a video platform that is free of big tech and mainstream media sponsorship.
Oh, I love that.
So if we win in 2024, we take the energy that we have, and every morning you can kickstart your day with a hardcore cup of 1775, and you can know that your coffee company is not donating to Democrats. Choose 1775 coffee by going to 1775coffee.com/RSBN and use code RSBN, and we'll give you 10% off. How's that? 1775coffee.com.
Nikki, thank you so much. I'm excited to try it.
Right?
It sounds delicious.
Gotta try
Coffee's such an interesting business. But where can we find you? Are you on Rumble, on Truth Social?
Thank you. Yes, I'm on Truth Social and on Instagram at Nick Stanz. It's NIKSTANZ. NIKSTANZ. It's basically just my name shortened, and that's Instagram and on Rumble. And on Truth. On Truth.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Excellent.
and you?
Fantastic. Well, I'm on Truth at Robert B. McNeely. B as in Brandon, my middle name.
Okay.
At Robert B. McNeely on Truth Social.
Perfect.
And on Instagram, you can find me at Robert McNeely MC. You spell my last name McNeilly. EMCEE for MC, so at Robert McNeely MC, and you can see all of our content.
Yes.
We'll be out here at different rallies and doing stuff around many different communities.
We
throughout
love
the
that.
country.
And, you know, we love the interactive value of social media is what makes it so exceptional.
Right.
It's how we get to know what President Trump is thinking all the time. That's how I find out what he's thinking in the moment. I'm like, what is he saying? What is he thinking right now? I'll watch some coverage on some whatever network, and I'll say, oh, I gotta know what his reaction was, and I'll go right to Truth, and I'll see what RSBN posts or what President Trump posts, and that's how I know. I'm like, we had the same thought.
Well, and that's what's our unique ability now to combat the sharing of misinformation,
Yes.
of different things now, because we can share on these different platforms.
Yes.
The last few years have been remarkable.
my
Don't
gosh.
have to rely on mainstream media that might have an agenda.
Right.
You could turn to others that have the truth
Yes.
and who want to be out here like RSBN showing what's happening in deep blue cities.
I love that.
We're not seeing really many others today, if anybody.
No,
at least
I mean,
right
the
now.
lines are definitely getting longer as
Right.
we find the shade. We're seeing more people here. We love seeing the lines fill up. And remember,
question.
President Trump is not speaking here in this city until 7 p.m. tonight. So when we think about, a speech at 7 p.m. Eastern and people lining up early in the afternoon, on really what is probably the hottest day on record, one of the hottest days on record in Philadelphia, you
No
know
question.
that something really special is happening. And he's
Absolutely.
also speaking in D.C. today.
He is, and he should be going on soon now.
Yes.
And to have, that is the Road to Majority Conference,
Yes.
Faith and Freedom Coalition, a great conference of grassroots patriots, very much like this is, but people who have been in the fight for a long time, an annual tradition. I actually have a funny story.
Okay.
Back when Paul Ryan was Speaker of the House, we had a group of Turning Point students students that we brought out to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And this is right in the height of 6 months into Russia, and the whole investigation, all that nonsense.
What a hoax.
But we're waiting for Speaker Ryan said, I've got to meet these students. I got to meet these people that are active on their campuses fighting for free speech, which is really neat for him to do at the time. Door swings open. I'm doing some impersonations, having some fun with it. And he looks at me and goes, what are you doing? So it's really a special conference if you haven't been to that.
That's funny.
And so I highly recommend fighting the D.C. heat for Road to Majority, where the president will be speaking momentarily.
That's right.
Then at 7 o'clock tonight, I mean, the energy. He's going to be here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Trump Force One will be flying in this afternoon to meet these wonderful patriots all waiting to see their president.
It's Philadelphia freedom, Bobby. It's
Philadelphia freedom.
Right?
You got to play some Elton John there. That's good stuff.
Yes,
fantastic.
I do. Hi, ladies.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, come on over.
Come on down.
Come on over, lovely. Come on over here. Come right here. We'd love to talk to you. I just want to hear the truth. You just said you watch RSBN. Tell us a little bit about why you like to watch our network.
Okay, your network has been out for such a long time. You've built up from so many, I would say, all the conservatives watch you now. You're everywhere. That's all I can say. I started out in 2015 with Donald Trump coming down the escalator, and we have to do something. That's all I can say.
I love that you're here. What brought you out in the heat today? I know, of course, President Trump did, but tell me what you want to hear from him.
Okay, it's Philadelphia, and I live outside of Philadelphia, but my dad worked in Philadelphia. He worked on Antique Row, where you could walk around Philadelphia and be safe. But now you can't walk in Philadelphia because you'll get shot. So I'm 75 years old, and I basically want the borders closed, and I want all these killings of these children and these girls and these rapes to stop. And Biden is not even running the country. We all know that. That's it.
Well said, and thank you for that. And you are a doll. You look fabulous, by the way. Enjoy your day and stay cool if you can. It's so wonderful to see. I love seeing that people have been so supportive, not only of President Trump, but of RSBN. And I hope that you continue to allow us to bring you these incredible opportunities to see these full rallies and events live and from start to finish. And you saw, she's 75, Bobby. She was 75 years old. And now we have another friend here. What's your name?
Chase.
Hi, Chase. I love your shirt.
Thank you.
So, Chase, how old are you?
8.
Is this your first time coming to President Trump's rally?
Yeah.
And what do you like about President Trump?
That he's gonna be president again.
I like that answer. I think that's great. And I like your button and your hat. And if you could say something, if President Trump is watching right now, what would you like to say to him?
If you're gonna be president, then I don't know.
You think you'll have a good life, huh? I think Chase will have a really good life, right? If Trump is president, is that what you think? High five, my friend. Thank you for that. Thank you guys for talking to me. Are you from Philadelphia?
No, we're from West Virginia, Berkeley Springs.
Came out here in the heat to support your president.
3.5 hour drive. It's worth it.
Thank you both so much for being here, and thank you for talking on TV with us. It was great to meet you, Chase. Have a great day, everybody. So cute. Love it.
It is really cool to see whether you're 8 years old or 75 years old or beyond.
Yes.
You can enjoy a MAGA rally. There's no question about it. And it's great to see parents bringing out children to anything that's political.
Yes.
You learn how to engage quickly. For me, it was that. It was my education, I think, that got me interested not only in history, but just the political process. And what a blessing we have as Americans to be engaged, to choose.
Yes.
Whether it's at the local level or the federal level. And I think President Trump really shares that love with his supporters at the end of the day. So
it's so great to actually recognize the right to choose, because so many people will say, oh, you MAGA people or this or that. Nobody's forcing anything on you. We want you to have just as good of a life as we want for ourselves, whether you're on this side or another side. And all we want to do is bring people together through unity, peace, and justice. And justice has been on the docket as well lately.
Right.
And I really hope to start seeing some level of fairness in the country restored, because that's, to me, the one-sided nature of the country is what's really bringing such a divisive culture to our nation.
Oh, no question. And you hear the sirens in the background. Been watching the coverage since this morning. Heard a lot of them in a big city. God bless our first responders.
Yes.
our firemen, our police officers, paramedics. I'm just in awe of them. I live
know,
right by a big fire department, and you'll hear the sirens throughout the day, and they're willing to go into harm's way to keep us safe, keep us free.
So brave.
And it's something that I know is important for President Trump.
Yeah, we're very blessed. You know, it's interesting. You see, you know, I worked in entertainment and pop culture, and listen, I love entertainment. You do too. We love, performance, arts. But at the end of the day, the people that we see these award shows for and this recognition for and the accolades for are the people that entertain us, which is fine. We love that. But we should also make sure to always honor and recognize and appreciate those who actually put themselves and their families in harm's way to risk their lives to give us a safer place to live.
Oh, there's no question. Well said, Nikki. It's really a calling. It's a devotion. It's a vocational, calling. So it's so special to see that people are willing to do that still. And in a situation like this and where society's at, you truly have to love it in order to want to serve your neighbors.
No doubt.
Question about it.
Well said.
Absolutely.
I mean, and look at all these people. You know, we're seeing I was saying this earlier, but such a representation here. People assume, you know, that MAGA means one thing, or that one group of supporters of one age or one race or one denomination, whatever, support President Trump, and that is not the truth at all. The real truth is what you see on RSBN, which is everybody of all colors, of all backgrounds, of all economic, faculties. You'll often hear President Trump will say, "I don't care if you didn't graduate high school or if you graduated the Wharton," right?
Right, exactly.
You're either way. I'm there for you, the people.
No question.
Yeah.
We saw even Mr. Edward Young earlier today.
Yes.
It was his 78th MAGA rally, and 64 years young, just absolutely crushing it. We see people who are registering voters out here.
Yep.
We're seeing vendors who are, President Trump continues to create jobs with the Make America Great Again emblem, and we're seeing different colors, different. So much happening here. I saw the shoes out there too.
Oh,
I've been looking for shoes.
I want to see the shoes.
I haven't seen anyone wearing shoes. Well, we got some great.
Those are cute.
Veronica's shoes are fantastic.
I love those.
And Veronica, again, she's doing some great work. We interviewed her earlier, registering voters, and getting people out there to go and vote.
It's so
fantastic.
much fun.
Excellent. And we're hearing, ladies and gentlemen, 15 minutes to President Trump, his first speech in Washington, D.C., and then he'll do that and then get on Trump Force One and come to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where we are today, the birthplace of freedom.
Yes,
arguably. Where our Declaration was signed,
where it was signed, and where it all began for independence. It's such a historical city. It's also the city that honors Rocky Balboa, so it's a champion's city as well.
No question, absolutely.
I was saying I want to run up the steps at some point before this weekend's over.
We might have to do that. That's one of my favorite movies and one of my favorite underdog stories, and I think that's part of the MAGA movement too. Is that. It's always about President Trump talks a lot about relish being the outsider.
Yes.
Don't just treat the word impossible as nothing more than an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I love that message.
It's a great message.
Encouraging.
Well, impossible spelled out is I am possible.
No question.
Right? So
Absolutely.
It's kind of interesting. Also, speaking of Rocky, I was thinking about the fighter spirit, but one of the quotes that I believe that was written for that movie that I absolutely love is, "It's not how hard you got punched or how hard you fell, it's how you get back up." And I feel like, President Trump is like the true story of the American hero. He's always been a business mogul. He's always been an entrepreneur that we adore and look up to. And when he was on The Apprentice, of course, we loved him for that. But then he fought for the country as an incredible leader and president. And even during times where he was beaten down, he always came back.
Oh, no question.
And that's the Rocky spirit.
What I love about The Apprentice, too, and what did he talk about was businesses. It was about finances, how important that is to secure your monetary future.
The economy
and that's why you really have to look into Birch Gold.
Definitely.
And if you want to convert your 401k into, or an IRA into tangible, solid gold that's in your hand, you can see it, you can feel it, you can make that transaction with gold throughout the country, throughout the world, no matter what gets hard, what gets tough. Just text Trump to 989898. Take advantage of Birch Gold. This guy knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
take advantage of Birch Gold.
Trump 2024.
There you go, Trump 2024. But text Trump to 989898 for Birch Gold.
Listen, there's some enthusiasm here today. There's no question.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are beating the heat, right? We don't care about the heat. We're here for President Trump, supporting a chance to really make our country great again. That's what it's about.
and economy and bring the people together, truly bring them together. Look around. All the people are here, not the hate mongering they're trying to push. That's right.
That's right. And you know, I always say try not to judge any book by its cover, because all of us have a story, all of us have a mission, and at the end of this election cycle, we want to all come together, as different and as similar as we may be. We want to all be unified.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Go America. Woo!
Go America. That's what it's about. Peace-loving freedom fighters, right? That's what we are.
With a flourishing economy.
Yes.
For America.
A flourishing economy. I love it. Well, come on over here. What is your name?
Padme.
Pepe?
Padme.
Padme. Where are you from?
Florida.
You are? We were just in Florida.
We're from here. We moved from Florida.
Okay.
We came from Florida.
Okay, we were just in Florida for President Trump's birthday last week, so that was fun. But now we're here in Philadelphia, and I want to know, first of all, how old are you?
I am 10.
You're 10. Is this your first time coming to a fun rally?
Yeah.
And what do you want to hear from President Trump today?
I have no clue.
Even though he's not going to jail.
You want to hear that he wants peace for the country? That's a good one, right?
Yeah.
Peace is a good thing. So what grade are you going into next year?
6.
6. My niece just graduated 6th grade. 6th grade is a good year, and you want a good future, and that's what I believe you're probably here for today, is a good future, right?
Safety.
Yeah.
Safety, our borders being protected, so my daughter is safe here. They're going after little girls, and my big issue, what I just wanted to say was my big issue with Biden is everything they give him, he signs. He doesn't proofread it. That can make it dangerous for our children. What are you signing, dude? Do you even read what you're signing? And every time he doesn't even read, he's like, where do I sign? And that is not healthy. That is not safe. He does not represent us Americans, but Trump does.
Well, I love hearing that, and I hope that you have a beautiful and safe future, and I'm glad you're here to support President Trump today, and to be here amongst all of us in Philadelphia, fighting for nothing but just a happy, safe, and prosperous, peaceful country, right?
Yep. And can I say one thing to my mom in Florida? Trump train! Woo-woo! My man! Woo! Both my parents are Republicans, and I'm proud of them.
Oh, well, we're proud to have you with us.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, it's...
All right, guys, we're going to toss it back to the studio.
Fantastic.
Because I believe President Trump is getting ready to speak, if I'm not mistaken, in D.C., right?
Washington, D.C.
Okay,
we'll
let's
see.
Hey. I'm going to be brief, but this man deserves a proper introduction. This is his 9th appearance at Road to Majority. And 12 months from now, we want him back with a presidential seal on this podium. You know, they told us we couldn't trust him. They told us he wouldn't keep his word. But as President of the United States, he kept every single promise he made to us and the American people. And then he started keeping promises he never made. They claim he's a threat to democracy. But they're the ones who are trying to remove him from the ballot, bankrupt him, and put him in prison. They're the threats to democracy. And this man, among all the other things that he did for this great nation, he appointed not 1, not 2, but 3 conservative Supreme Court justices. He is a dear friend of this organization and has been almost from its founding. He is a tireless, indefatigable champion of faith and freedom and this great country. Would you please welcome the 45th and soon to be 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I'm delighted to be here at the Faith and Freedom Coalition's Road to Majority. What a big deal that is. Road to the Majority Conference. It's a big event, and there's a lot of people outside wanting to get in. If anyone would like to give up their location, please raise your hand immediately. This is my 9th time speaking at this event, and I would not miss it for anything. You know, we have a big rally tonight in Philadelphia, and so somebody said they got a little bit confused, and they had me speaking here and there. So somebody foolishly canceled here, and when I heard about it, I said, wait a minute, what are you doing? We canceled Faith and Freedom. I said, I don't have the courage to do that. I'll do it during the day, which is actually even better, if you want to know the truth, and we'll do the rally later. I don't have the courage to do that. Not to you and not to Ralph Reed. But I want to thank Ralph Reed for his extraordinary leadership, along with Executive Director Tim Head, great people. Thanks also to Congressman, he's fantastic, Barry Loudermilk. He's here someplace. He's here someplace. He's doing a fantastic job with all of the things they said he walked through with Russian spies or something like that. He turned out to be constituents, young children. These people are sick. Former congressman and a man who's heading up New York for us, Lee Zeldin. He's fantastic. Lee Zeldin. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. Kristi. Thank you, Kristi. Great. Thank you, darling. RNC Chairman Michael Whatley. He's doing a great job. Although I'll tell you about that right after the 5th. I'll tell you about the 6th. But I think he will be incredible. He comes from good stock. Comes from North Carolina, and they didn't have any votes stolen in North Carolina. That's why I said he's the guy. He watched that voter fraud more than anybody. A friend of mine, a man who got me involved in this whole deal, not this one, I mean like 8 years ago, he thought we could do something, and we played around with it, and I said one day, let's go, Corey, let's go, let's do it. Corey Lewandowski. Thank you, Corey. Thank you. He's a good man. Dr. Alveda King, who's a friend of mine for a long time. I can't see with these lights. These lights are blinding. I can't see anybody. I just know there are a lot of people in this room. But they happen to have the lights in a nice angle. It's just perfect. I can't see a person here. Nobody's going to be watching the debate on Thursday night, right? Nobody? Will anybody be watching? A friend of mine and a great businessman and developer from New York and various other places, including Florida, Steve Witkoff. Steve is here. Thanks, Steve. Look at that hand you get, Steve. You got to run for politics. And Moms for Liberty co-founder Tiffany Justice. I love that name. Tiffany, that's the greatest name. I love it. And thank you for your endorsement and your help and everything, Moms for Justice. I'll tell you, they have Moms for Liberty have been great, and Tiffany's been so incredible. So I appreciate it very much, Tiffany Justice. One of the best names I've heard in a long time. Most importantly, let me say a special thanks to the gigantic grassroots movement of volunteers who will power the Faith and Freedom Coalition, and I know they're going to be very much involved during the election period. It used to be one day, now it's, 2 months. It used to start like election day meant election day. Now it means, 2.5 months before the election begins it starts. But it starts actually pretty much on September 6th. That's North Carolina. Pennsylvania's, think of that, so September 6th, and Pennsylvania's September 22nd. And we have to get out there. We have to vote. We have to make sure everything's honest. And you keep your eyes open. You're the police in a way. You can police your vote. A lot of people don't know that. Just make sure that vote counts. We have to make sure it counts. Because if I knew that there was not going to be corruption, if I knew that everything would be honorable and honest as it should be, I'd stop campaigning right now. We have this thing won. I would immediately stop campaigning. I'd go and relax. I'd call up the big rally we have in Philadelphia tonight and say, it's not necessary. Don't worry about it. Everyone go home and relax. No organization does more. You are truly, and I mean this, indispensable. This is a great group of people, and you're warriors in the truest sense, and you know what we have to do, because we're not going to have a country left if we don't do it. That's for sure. This year you will knock on 10 million doors, reach 18 million Christian voters, and register 1 million new voters across 130,000 churches. And I hope you can put the lock boxes in the churches, because that's what you should be doing. You should have lock boxes. You know, these boxes that they cheat with so badly. You should put them in your churches, because, you know, the evangelicals and the Christians, they don't vote as much as they should. I don't know if you know that, you know. They go to church every Sunday, but they don't vote. And we have to make sure they vote just this time, because all you have to do is this time. You don't have to worry about it, because we're going to straighten it out very fast. Just this time. Go vote. But, you know, they have it's very interesting. The NRA gave me a very big endorsement, and we were talking about it. And gun owners don't vote very much. I mean, I'm saying this is just statistically. We have to get people that own guns have to go and vote. You own a rifle, you want to keep your rifle, you better go vote, because the Second Amendment is under siege, and you have to vote. And who would have known that? I think it's sort of a protest. You're so angry about what's happening. But this is over years. Gun owners don't vote much, meaning, you know, some vote, but not, relatively speaking, not that much. And Christians go to church, but they don't vote that much. Do you know the power you have if you would vote? It wouldn't even be. So you got to get out and vote just this time. I don't care. In 4 years, you don't have to vote, okay? In 4 years, don't vote. I don't care by that time. But we'll have it all straightened out, so it'll be much different. Of course, then they'll come in again, and they'll ruin it. We'll have to do this all over again. Then we'll come back and say, you have to go vote. Working side by side, we're going to defeat crooked Joe Biden. We're going to defend our values, and we're going to make America great again. And this will be the most important election in the history of our country. I believe that. I used to say it, 2016, we had a border that was bad. But the border was bad, but it was like, I call it peanuts. Peanuts compared to what we have now. That was like a great border. If we had that border now, it would be like great. It was really bad, but it was just a tiny fraction of what it is now. Now it's the worst it's ever been. I would say it's the worst border anywhere of any country, anywhere in the world, at any time. In less than 4 years, Joe Biden has obliterated the borders of the United States. We don't have borders. We don't have borders. We don't have elections that are proper. We don't have anything. And you know what we want with elections? We want paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, and we want to ensure that people are citizens. A little thing like, let's make sure you're a citizen, right? You know, they're bringing these people in. They're trying to get these people registered to vote. They don't speak a word of English, most of them, and they come from all over the world. That's what they're doing. I said there was only a few things that could it be. They're stupid. Well, they're not stupid. Nobody could cheat that well if they were stupid. They're not stupid. Then the other is they hate our country. That could be. But the third thing is they want to register people to vote. That's, I think, what they really have in mind. So we have to be very careful, and that's where Michael Whatley will do the job. That's where Susie Wiles, who's here right now, she's fantastic, and she'll do the job. And Lara will do the job, Lara Trump, who's fantastic. She's fantastic. But crooked Joe wrecked our economy with brutal inflation and $2 trillion deficits. Did you hear our deficit is going to be $2 trillion this year? $2 trillion. His weakness, failure, and incompetence have set the world on fire. He is a threat to democracy. By the way, just by being so incompetent, he's a threat to democracy. His Marxist administration is pushing radical gender ideology into every school, and I'm sure this group is not particularly happy with that. And Crooked Joe has demonstrated an amazing ability to, to demolish the rule of law by arresting political opponents, dissidents, Christians, pro-life activists like a third world dictator would do. It's a disgrace what's happened to our country in such a short period of time, 3.5 years. What's happened to our country, it's not even believable. Our one chance to save America from these left-wing fascists is less than, it's now 4 months. Can you believe it? I've been saying 7, 6, 5. It's now we're in between 4 and 5 months from now. November 5th, going to go down as the most important day in the history of our country. I'm telling you, because we're not going to have, I hope we can get there without ending in a world war. You know, Russia's got submarines now very nicely in Cuba. You know where Cuba is? It's about 2 feet away from Florida. No, they've got ships there. And they're talking about, you know, going after Russia in Ukraine and giving them authorization to go after Russia. You know, where's this thing going to? And I've said it, I will get that war solved. If there's anything left, I'll get it solved as president-elect before I ever get into the White House. But we need Christian voters to turn out in the largest numbers ever to tell crooked Joe Biden, Joe, the apprentice, Joe, you're fired. You're fired, Joe. Get out of here, Joe. You're no good. You've been the worst president ever. You're fired, Joe. Get out. No, worst president in the history of our country. As you know, the radical left is trying to shame Christians, silence you, demoralize you, and they want to keep you out of politics. They don't want you to vote. That's why you have to vote. They're counting on you now. Because if you vote, no, we cannot lose. They don't want you to vote. But Christians cannot afford to sit on the sidelines. If Joe Biden gets back in, Christianity will not be safe in a nation with no borders, no laws, no freedom, no future. They're not going to be safe. You're not going to be safe as a person, and your religion certainly will be, I think, in tatters. You want to know the truth? I think in tatters. You see what they're doing. And I don't know, it's a little bit less to do with this room, but we all care. What's going on with Catholics? They are being persecuted. Catholics, what is that all about? By this man that has no idea what the hell is happening. And by the way, I don't believe it is him. I think it's the people that surround him, the fascist, communists, the young, very smart, vicious people. Because I don't think he knows he's alive. You want to know the truth, okay? The reason the radical left will always come after religious believers is simple, because they know that our allegiance is not to them. Our allegiance is not to them. Our allegiance is to our country, and our allegiance is to our Creator. And we do not answer to the bureaucrats in Washington. We answer to God in heaven. You're not even allowed to say that anymore. Today, if you say that, they want to arrest you. If you say that, they want to arrest you. Who likes the 10 Commandments, by the way, going up in the schools? They think it's such a bad thing. I said, has anyone read the thou shalt not steal, thou shalt... I mean, has anybody read this incredible stuff? It's just incredible. They don't want it to go up. It's a crazy world, you know, a crazy world. Things, who would think that somebody would want open borders where people flood in by the millions from all over the world, from prisons and from mental institutions, and a lot of terrorists in record numbers. Nobody's seen anything like it. Who would think that's good? Who would think that, you know, like a little thing, it's so embarrassing even have to say it, but I say it because it's a big political deal. Who would think that men playing in women's sports is okay? Who would think that? I have to say it. Who would think it? It's all, you know, open borders. Who would think it? Who would think this stuff? But in my first term, I defended Judeo-Christian heritage like no president in the history of our country. And with your help, I will continue to fight for our values and our civilization for 4 more years in the White House. We're going to straighten it out. We're going to straighten it out fast. It's going to go fast. The hardest thing to do is we have probably close to 20 million people that came in from all parts of the world, and they're going to have to be gone. They came in illegally. Many, many people coming in from prisons and mental institutions. They came in, I mean, from, you know, I say prisons and jails because there is a slight difference. I say mental institutions and insane asylums because actually there's more than a slight difference, right? Whenever I say Silence of the Lamb, the fake news back there, they say, oh, he's talking about He's talking about Silence of the Lamb. And I say, the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Oh, he likes Hannibal Lecter. No, they're crazy. When I imitate Joe Biden can't get off the stage, I walk into a wall purposely. I walk in that wall. Oh, that's perfect. Sometimes they don't have a wall. You're freestanding. It doesn't. But I imitate him, and I walk into a wall, and the next day they write, Donald Trump could not find his way off the stage. No. So I don't even do it anymore. These are crooked people. And yet with him, they're trying to say that all of these horrible blunders that he's made over the last week, you don't have to go back much, that he was improperly covered. So they say, in the one case, he had a fundraiser, and Obama could have been more gentle, in all fairness. I think that's a dispute within their own party, because, Obama could have been a little bit more gentle than that, so instead of tugging him off the stage. When you think of it, right? But he made it obvious. But you see that. And then I think 39 different people had their phones up, like you people. You have your phones up. If I did something wrong and I had one camera, then another camera, after you get 39 or so, you say, I guess he blew it. But they said, oh, it was covered so, and they, they changed it, and AI and all this stuff. They didn't do that. That was the way it was. They're all the same. But the press has bought into it now. Oh, no, he was fine. It was the coverage was so bad by conservatives. They say by conservatives. When I equated two people, I equated them. I shouldn't mention the names, but I equated Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. I equated them. They said, oh, he doesn't understand No, I understand the difference. He doesn't understand the difference between Haley and Pelosi. No, we understand that. I understand a lot of differences. But anything you do, the fake news will take it and turn it. But with him, they take bad stuff and try and make it look good. With us, they take genius, pure genius, and they try and make it look, right? They try and make it look bad. It's the exact opposite. So we actually have to work harder. I told my kids it would be a lot easier if you were Democrats. We have to work very much harder. We have to run the entire East Coast to win. They automatically start with like 38%. They start with 38%. I mean, I could go into why and the percentages, but I don't want to do that because I think we're going to get a lot of that 38%. You want to know that? Like people in unions, not to mention it, like people in unions, because we have tremendous support from the auto workers, tremendous support from the Teamsters, and tremendous. I've hired so many Teamsters. Concrete in New York, it's all delivered by Teamsters. They do a great job. But we're going to have a lot of union support. So I'm not going to say anything. Just think of what we've already achieved, and we've done things that nobody thought possible. Together, we stood up to the communists, Marxists, and fascists to defend religious liberty like no other president has ever done. And I have the wounds all over my body. If I took this shirt off, you'd see a beautiful, beautiful person. But you'd see wounds all over me. I've taken a lot of wounds, I can tell you. More than I suspect any president ever. In history, and I've read, I love this stuff, but in history, they say Andrew Jackson was treated the worst, President Andrew Jackson. He was a great general and a very good president. And Abraham Lincoln was second worst. Now, he had a civil war, so, you sort of think that was understood. And now they're rewriting the books. Trump was treated the worst, Andrew Jackson second, and Abraham Lincoln third. But I definitely took top spot. I took top spot. And I'm honored to do it. And here we are looking for more. How about that? I could right now be home. I wouldn't be in court. I wouldn't be in courts all over the land. All started by crooked Joe Biden and his group of thugs. We restored the conscience, rights, and all of the things that we've done for doctors, nurses, teachers, and faith groups like the Little Sisters of the Poor. We came to their defense. I stopped the IRS from using the Johnson Amendment to interfere with pastors' freedom of speech, and all religious leaders, not only pastors. And Joe Biden took it right away, and I will give it right back. We're going to give it right back. A long time ago. I learned about the Johnson Amendment a long time ago. They've basically taken away your rights. You're not allowed, if you're a minister, a pastor, or other religious leader or rabbi, if you want to say things that are political, they take away your tax exemptions and they really destroy you. And I put that back, and now they've put it back. It's like a yo-yo. I'm going to put it back immediately. First day, I'm giving that back because we want to hear from our ministers, our pastors, and our rabbis, and others, by the way. I issued guidance making clear that the right to freedom of worship does not end at the door to a public school. I was the first to, and I'm the only president, I think, to convene a meeting at the United Nations to end religious persecution worldwide. The only time it's ever been done. Because you know what? Presidents, they get elected and then they don't want to get involved. We don't want to get involved, like what I did for Israel as an example, right, with Jerusalem. Every president, for many, many presidents, said we're going to do that capital. Going to make Jerusalem the capital. They're going to move the embassy to Jerusalem. And nobody did it. And I understood why, because once I got there, I had more pressure put on me from other countries. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. I did it. I did something what many presidents, I don't know the number, but going back a long time, they campaigned on it, they did it. I campaigned on it, and I did it. I just didn't take, thank you very much, that's very nice. You know, I didn't take calls for about 4 days. I set up the meeting on a Monday, and I didn't take calls. I was away, quote, over the weekend. And he'll call you back on Tuesday. Oh, kings, queens, everybody. He'll call you back on Tuesday. And we had a press conference on Monday, and I announced Jerusalem. I announced that we're going to move the embassy, and Jerusalem becomes the capital, something. And by the way, that's a small one compared to what I did. I got rid of the Iran nuclear deal. Unfortunately, Biden did nothing with it. And Golan Heights and the Abraham Accords. What I did for Israel, and interestingly, this group is so unbelievably pro-Israel. It's amazing, actually, and I tell you that because in many ways you give it more support than anybody. You give more support to Israel than anybody, so a lot of people really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I can use that. I can use that love. Thank you. Who is the woman? She sounded so nice. Stand up. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's very nice. And you have a beautiful voice, too. Thank you. When I return to the White House, I will once again aggressively defend religious freedom in all of its forms, and many forms, but we will defend it in every single one of its forms. We will protect Christians in our schools, in our military, in our government, in our workplaces, in our hospitals, and in our public square. In my next term, I will once again appoint a rock-solid conservative, and we are putting in, we put in almost 300 judges and 3 Supreme Court justices to interpret the law and the Constitution as written. It was being interpreted slightly different than that, as you probably noticed. In my first 4 years, we totally transformed the federal bench, and putting in all of these judges, and nobody's ever seen anything like it, actually, a record, pro-Constitution judges. I withstood vicious attacks to pick and confirm 3 great Supreme Court justices, Neil Gorsuch, Brett Kavanaugh, and Amy Coney Barrett. Good people, too. I took a lot of heat. I took a lot of heat, a lot of hits, but we did the right thing. They're great people. Thanks to these justices, we have also achieved what the pro-life movement fought to get for 49 years, and we've gotten abortion out of the federal government and back to the states, the way everybody and all legal scholars always said it should be. Nobody thought that would happen. That's what they wanted. The whole thing was they wanted, the Roe v. Wade was federal, and they wanted it all back in the states where the people could vote and make their decisions. It's now up to the will of the people in each state. Some states will be more conservative, other states will be more liberal. It's happening now. You see the votes are all taking place. And it's the way every legal scholar and just about all the Democrats and all the Republicans and conservatives and liberals, they all wanted it that way. And we did something that was amazing. The big problem was it was caught up in the federal government, but the people will decide, and that's the way it should be. The people are now deciding, and some states are a little bit more conservative, and some states are much more liberal. If the radical Democrat extremes get their way, they will have a federal law for abortion, to rip the baby out of the womb in the 7th, 8th, and 9th month, and even execute the baby after birth. They have that. You know that. The governor, think of it, the governor of Virginia, previous governor, we have a great governor of Virginia right now, but Glenn Youngkin is doing a great job. But the previous governor of Virginia, you want to make that very clear, because he's doing great. The previous was not so good. But he actually made that statement, we'll put the baby down after the babies, we'll put that, and you'll decide what to do. And there are states that allow that. They're the radical ones on this issue, far and away the radical ones, not us. Every voter has to go with your heart and do what's right, but we also have to get elected, because we have a lot of other things. We have to get elected. You have to be able to win. Like Ronald Reagan, I believe in exceptions for the life of the mother, rape, and incest. Some people do. I think most people do, actually, but some people don't. You have to go with your heart, but you have to also remember you have to get elected. I want to thank the 6 Supreme Court justices, Clarence Thomas, Samuel Alito, John Roberts, Brett Kavanaugh, Neil Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett for the wisdom and the courage they showed on this long-term, very contentious issue. This has been a long time it's been fought. Getting it back to the states puts the question where it belongs, with the vote of the people, and over time, it will all work out. It's working out right now, but it's all going to work out, and it's where everybody wanted it, including the legal scholars, but it's where everybody wanted it to be. And it's taken, actually, they say 49, but it's probably 51 years it's taken to get this done. Above all, in the Republican Party, we will always support families, babies, life, and very, very important to the Republican Party. By contrast, Joe Biden is weaponizing the Justice Department to viciously persecute pro-life activists and Americans of faith. Just last month, the Biden DOJ got Paula Harlow, a 75-year-old woman in poor health, sentenced to 2 years in prison for singing outside of a class. She was singing, actually, a beautiful voice. She was singing beautifully outside of a clinic. And fearing she would die in prison, her husband pleaded with the judge for mercy and even asked to be thrown in prison with his wife. And the judge responded by mocking their religion. He was mocking their religion. I wonder who that judge is. Paul is one of many peaceful pro-lifers who Joe Biden has rounded up, sometimes with SWAT teams, and thrown them in jail. Many people are in jail over this. This is just crazy. We're going to get that taken care of immediately, first day, immediately. But let's call these brave Americans what they really are. It's persecuted Christians. That's what they are. They're persecuted. Because these people are really the threat to democracy. You know, they have a whole thing about Donald Trump is the threat to democracy. I'm the one that got us out of the wars. I'm the one that defeated ISIS and got us out of all these wars. You know? I'm the one that had the safest border in the history of our country, and now it's death. And, you know, when you talk about the bad border, you don't realize how many people are dying on the caravans coming up. They're dying because they're told, you know, come on up, and we're going to give you education, we're going to give you health care. They're destroying your Social Security. Your Social Security and your Medicare is being destroyed because millions of people are coming up, and you're not going to have it. Something's going to have to happen because they are destroying. Joe Biden is destroying your Social Security and many other things to reverse these monstrous abuses of power. The moment I win election, and we're going to win, we got to win. If we don't win, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. You know, I used to say it in 2016, and I meant it. We were, you know, I thought that was the most important election. In 2020, I didn't say it. By the way, we got many millions of votes more in 2020 than we did in 2016. We got millions and millions of votes. It's a rigged election. But we got millions of votes more. I was told if you got the same number, 63 million, that you win. We got millions and millions, that's by their count, and it was a terrible thing. And look at what's happened to our country in 3.5 years. It's not even the same place. It's not the same place. I always say we're a nation in decline. We're a nation in really serious, serious decline. But we will rapidly review the cases of every political prisoner who's unjustly victimized by the Biden regime, including Paula, so we can get them out of the gulags and back to their families where they belong. Paula, just hold on, Paula. We're going to get you out of there. Can you imagine this? This is a good woman. This is a religious woman, and they throw her in jail. I will also create a new federal task force on fighting anti-Christian bias. Its mission will be to investigate all forms of illegal discrimination, harassment, persecution against Christians in America. And it's taking place at a level that nobody can believe. We're like a country from a different country. We're like, this is not America anymore that we're living in. These people are nasty. They're bad. They're bad. But you know what? We're tougher than they are. We're tougher than they are. But we have to be smart. We have to vote. We have to get out and vote. You cannot sit home. This one day you have to get out and vote. Never again will the federal government be used to target religious believers, Americans of faith. And that's all it is. It's Americans of faith are not a threat to our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. One of the reasons we have so much crime is you don't have the faith. You know, you don't have people wanting to be good because they want to go to that special place. They want to be good. There's no reason. It's like religion it's going down at a level that nobody's seen before. Nobody's seen anything like it. And it's really having a tremendous effect long beyond our churches and our synagogues and our mosques. It's long beyond, it's beyond everything. Religion is becoming less and less of a factor, less and less important in our country. And that's causing a lot of the chaos and a lot of the crime that you see. If they were grown up with religion, they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing because they're doing really bad things. So we're going to get it stopped. The weaponization of law enforcement is the greatest threat to freedom in America today, I think. And nobody knows it better than me. Look at the way I've been weaponized. I mean, they've weaponized me at a level that the late, great Al Capone, right? I tell it all the time, Scarface. He didn't go through what I went through. Of course, they were afraid to do it. They were afraid to do it. They said, well, let's leave him alone. He would take that gentleman, that handsome gentleman right there. He'd have dinner. If Alphonse Capone didn't like him, your family would never see you again, sir. They'd say, what happened to him? He's a part of a foundation under a nice high-rise that's going up someplace. I got indicted more than him, sir. For nothing, for no crimes. Even the scholars, all of the scholars, they said, well, there is no crime here. There's no crime. It's a terrible thing. These are sick people. These are horrible people. Remember this, the reason Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us is that they know we are the only ones who can stop them. That's true. All of their persecution is only happening because I am running for president and leading very big in the polls. But since the show trial in New York, that horrible, horrible trial, so many corrupt things happened in that trial. And I think they're seeing it. The people are seeing it because we have the strongest poll numbers we've ever had. And I mean, that goes back a long time now. And the fundraising is at levels that I don't think anybody has ever seen before. So there's a lot of great things. And I don't know if you saw last night, in the new Rasmussen poll, we're leading Biden by numbers that people haven't led by before. Biden is 10 points down nationally. That's nationally. And we're doing even better in the swing states. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. We're not going to allow it. And every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists, and that's exactly what they are, they're fascists, indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor because I'm being indicted for you. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate it. But I am. I'm being indicted for you. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be very proudly standing in their way. I am in their way, and I always will be in their way. From the very first day that we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and his thugs, I believe we're going to have 4 of the greatest years in the history of our country. It's going to happen fast. Within moments of taking the oath of office, I will seal the border, stop the invasion, and send Joe Biden's illegal aliens back home where they belong. They belong back home. Don't give me any of that, USA. Go out and vote. That's all I ask. Don't say, USA, USA, we love Trump, USA, and then November 5th comes along, or any of the previous days, you know, the early voting. And then you say, darling, I'm just a little tired. I think I'll skip the vote. You can't do that. You got to vote. No USA right now. You just go out and vote. Then we'll go USA. Because then we're going to make our country great again. Biden is releasing criminals to prey on our people. That's what's happening. Thank you. Got to get out and vote, right? See this beautiful group of people. They'll be in Monte Carlo on November 5th. I don't think so. We all know the names of too many innocent victims of Biden migrant crime. It's a new category of crime. It's called Biden migrant crime. Remember this. These migrants are tough. They're tough. They come from prisons and many other places, rough places. They're just getting used to our country. They're just settling in. Every day I read where somebody was killed. Beautiful young women, mostly young women, being killed by migrants. You know, they thought it was like this wonderful dream. I could just see, they said, oh, the migrants are coming in. These people are tough. They're so tough. Dana White, did anyone ever hear of Dana White? He's a legend, right? UFC, ultimate fighter, ultimate fighting, and he's a fantastic man. I said, Dana, I have an idea. Why don't you set up a migrant league of fighters and have your regular league of fighters, and then you have the champion of your league. These are the greatest fighters in the world. Fight the champion of the migrants. I think the migrant guy might win. That's how tough they are. He didn't like that idea too much, but actually it's not the worst idea I've ever had. No, it's these are tough people. These people are tough, and they're nasty, mean. It's incredible that they come totally unchecked. But we all know the names of too many innocent victims of the Biden migrant crime. Laken Riley, and you know, Biden was unable to pronounce her name. Called her Lincoln Riley, and this was right after. How terrible is that, though? Rachel Morin, who I just spoke to, the mother, is so great. I also met the parents I met the parents of many of the people that died. Met the parents of the soldiers that died so horribly in Afghanistan. But I met Laken's parents, and these are just incredible people. Their lives, I don't know what they're going to do. Their lives have been shattered. Nothing worse than that. It's so out of order. It's so out of order. Just the devastation. I spoke yesterday with Patricia, and it's just to hear her talk is just, I don't know. I don't know if you recover from it. They say time. It should never happen. Would have never happened with us. We had a strong border. We had the strongest border in history. And just this week, 12-year-old Jocelyn Nunguri found strangled to death and dumped in a creek in Houston, allegedly murdered by 2 recent illegal border crossers from Venezuela, viciously murdered. These monsters should never have been in our country. And if I were president, they would not have been in our country. We had a strong border. We had strong protection. And we had very strong protection. You know, in Venezuela, we just mentioned these monsters from Venezuela. In Venezuela, their crime is down 72%. Can you believe it? So I'm going to talk to Ralph Reed. And next year, we're going to hold Faith and Freedom in Venezuela where we can be safe. Ralph, can we do that, Ralph? Yes. Ralph said yes. No, think of it. They're sending all their killers, their murderers, their prisoners. They're sending drug dealers, gang lords, gangs. They're sending them to the United States. We're like a dumping ground. And that's the whole world, not just Venezuela. And you take a look at prison population all over the world. It's way down. Everyone says, I wonder why. It's not because they're behaving, because they're sending them into our country. And again, they're just getting comfortable now. They're going to start hitting us very hard. These people are bad. And that this can be allowed to happen. We have an incompetent president. We have a president who's got a very low IQ. And that was in good times. That was 25 years ago. Today he doesn't even register. It's ridiculous. When they say I have a friend, he's a Democrat, but he's not. He's a Democrat. Can't help it. That's the way he grew up. But he said to me, I don't understand it. You got a poll saying you're up 10 points. How can you only be up 10 points? I say that too. Who the hell is going to vote for this guy? On day one, I will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. Biden's border invasion is also a grave threat to, and as I said, Medicare and Social Security is under watch. Biden wants to dump millions of illegal aliens onto Medicare and put them into Social Security and even Obamacare and suck these programs dry. That's what they're going to do. And you're going to have a problem, and all of a sudden they're going to say, we're going to cut it in half. I'm not touching them. I'm leaving them where they are. You are going to see Social Security, if he gets elected, is going down the tubes. I can't even imagine him being elected. Can you imagine 4 more years? These are the worst 4 years. As president, I will fight for American seniors, not the Biden illegals. I will fight for American workers, not the human traffickers. I will fight for American dreamers, not the child smugglers. And I will restore the sovereign borders of the United States of America. So help me God. You know, they don't want you to say, so help me God. You know that. It's under siege, right? So help me God. If you say, so help me, we don't want you to say that. How about, in God we trust? They want it taken down. How about George Washington High School? We want the name removed from that high school. They don't know why. They thought he had slaves. Actually, I think he probably didn't, but anybody that was, it's just like incredible. Changing the name of we won world wars from those forts. Fort Bragg. So many of the forts, we won world wars. We dominated. We saved the world from those forts. And now they decide to take the names off. And wait till you see ultimately what happens with those names. I call it a transition, like transitioning. They have a transition name before they name it. The Reverend Al Sharpton Fort Al Sharpton. Now you can just imagine. But this is a transition. They've done a couple of transitions. These people they're sick. They're sick. As president, I will not cut 1 penny from Social Security or Medicare. I kept that promise for 4 straight years, and I will keep it again. By contrast, Joe Biden has cut Medicare Advantage payments. You don't even know this. For 2 straight years, a total betrayal of seniors. Senior citizens, he's cut your Advantage payments for 2 years, and nobody knows it. And the seniors have to get on board because I'll tell you what, they're being treated badly. The military is being treated badly. Our vets are being treated the worst of all. How about our vets? They're laying in streets. You know, I had the highest approval rating for a president ever with the Veterans Administration. Now it's one of the lowest ever. What I did was incredible. Like no long waits. If you have to wait a long time, you go get a private doctor, we pay for it. People were waiting 3-4 months to get, people were becoming terminally ill waiting. Also firing civil service and other workers that were sadists and crooks, but they were sadists. They were beating up our soldiers in their not prime time. In prime time, they wouldn't be able to do it. They get their ass handed to them, right? But they were not doing it in, think of it, they were not treating our soldiers right. And I got it, and you couldn't fire them because under civil service rules, you cannot fire anybody. They had one in Arizona. They caught him stealing $400,000. They caught him cold. He admitted everything. They couldn't fire him. They could do everything, but they couldn't fire him. Stole $400,000. But they were beating up our soldiers. They were sadists. And I got the right to fire them through Congress. It had to go through Congress. Both of them had to go through Congress. Choice had to go through Congress. So we got him choice all right. And I'll tell you, the number of people that were saved, I got the highest rating ever. 92%. Think of this. So now it's down to 40%. They ended all of this stuff. Why would they end it? They hate our country, and they hate our military. They hate our veterans. They hate our soldiers. Biden, and they made up a story about me with suckers and losers. They made up this story about me looking down at graves saying, sucker. They make it up, suckers and losers. Who would, surrounded by military people. There's nobody that's stupid enough to make that statement. Think of it. And I was president. I would have said that would have been justified for somebody to start taking swings at me as president. But they made it up. It's a phrase that was totally made up by a third-rate magazine that's going out of business, losing a fortune. I think it was The Atlantic, a magazine that nobody reads. They got lucky. They got some sucker to fund it for a little while. Some stupid sucker. Her husband's looking down. Her former husband is looking down. He's saying, you dumb, I should have never. She took his money and she said, Atlantic magazine, let's waste millions of dollars. But no, they made it up. And, you know, you say it's not true, but does 10%, 5% of military people believe it? This is what we have to live with. It's horrible. Who would say it? Just think of it. Who would say that about, even if you hated the military, you wouldn't say it. And you wouldn't certainly say it to military people. So just from a common standpoint. But that thing's haunted me for 3 years. For 3 years. I'll never forget. I walk out of a big rally. Everything was great. It was an unbelievable. And some of the fake news over there, one of them, said, sir, did you call the dead military, suckers and losers? Before I even responded, I said, here we go. Because who would do such a thing? And I'm the exact, I rebuilt our military. I was better than any president ever to our military. They'll say anything. Just like they try and now say with Biden, with cheap fakes or whatever they call it. Just what they made up a name. They're saying he was perfect, all these things when he sat down because he had obviously a problem. In Normandy, do you think that Macron was impressed? Macron's an elegant guy, smart. He's at the top of his game. I don't think he was too impressed. But just like the other day, as I said with Obama, or any one of the other times, oh, it was fake reporting by the conservative media. It wasn't fake reporting. It was just there. It was just there. But they made up a suckers and losers statement so terrible. And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal. Refutal or a rebuttal? What the hell word would that be? Rebuttal? What they'll say, he didn't know, rebuttal or refutal, but they don't know either. Sir, it should not be dignified, sir. I said, well, I got to fight that. That's the worst thing you could probably say to me would be that. He said, sir, it's going nowhere. 3 years later, it still simmers. And you know what? Anybody in the military, oh, now I fight. I talk about it all the time because it doesn't make sense. Nobody could say a thing like, you can't. Even if you hated the military, you couldn't say that because it would be It would actually be dangerous. It would be so bad, nobody would say that. So now I speak about it all the time because these people are liars. They make it up. It's now on top of that, you have AI. On top of that, you now have AI to go along with that. So it's sort of a dangerous world out there. On day one, we will throw out Bidenomics and replace it with MAGAnomics quickly. Under Biden, the economy is in ruins. Inflation has cost the typical family $28,000. Think of that. The inflation is killing people. They make the same amount of money, or even if they made more, it doesn't matter. Inflation is destroying them. They can't buy anything anymore. I will end. I always say, you know, I sort of have this little thing. I shouldn't show it. Maybe I should save it for the debate. Okay? Look, I'll save it. I'm going to do this because this is private. There's only about 400 press back there. Look, inflation, this is what it does to you. This is Tic Tac now. This is Tic Tac. Let's go. See? Look. It used to be that. That's what inflation. That's what inflation has done. That's what inflation has done. Glad everybody in this room has good eyes. But I will end the Biden inflation nightmare, and we will end it very quickly. I will stop Biden's trillions and trillions of dollars in wasteful spending and rapidly terminate the Green New Scam. It's one of the greatest scams in history. I will repeal Crooked Joe's insane electric. How about the electric vehicle mandate? And we will drill, baby, drill. All cars are going to be electric. They don't go far. They cost too much. And by the way, electric cars have a great place. They have a great place, but not a place for 100%. Maybe not a place for 10%. Whatever it is, they have a place. You can't go far. And they're going to all be made in China. They are expensive. Right now, you have hundreds of thousands. This is a great time to buy an electric car. You know why this? You know what? Do you ever notice the auto companies aren't upset about it? They're making cars that can't sell. They just can't sell. They have hundreds of thousands of them. You know why? Because we're spending trillions of dollars and giving them subsidy. So the auto companies don't care. Normally, they'd all be bankrupt if that were the case. They're making cars that can't sell. Now they want to make your army tanks all electric so that we can go into a community near you. No, we go into enemy territory, we blast the hell out of them, but we do it in an environmentally friendly way. No, do you ever? No, it's crazy. We make the greatest army tanks in the world. We make them in Ohio. We make them in Lima. I was the one, I stopped it. They said, sir, there's a plant that makes the army tank. The only plant we have that does it. And I was president-elect, and I was called by Jim Jordan, who's great. You know Jim Jordan from Ohio? And he said, could you take a look at it, sir? Because I don't think you can replace this. So anyway, I went up, Lima. I went up and I said, wow, this place is unbelievable. It makes army tanks. That's all they've done for years and years. They make the best tanks in the world. They were going to close it under, I guess it was Obama. But it was scheduled to be closed. And I looked, I said, this is a room that is 20 times larger than this. And it's unbelievable. The ball bearings, that heavy steel, and you can almost move it with your hand. It's so incredible how it all works. And these guys are so professional. I said, if you close this, you'll never be able to open up a plant with this talent or this kind of a plant. And now they want, and I kept it open. I took it off the list, and it makes more tanks than anybody in the world right now. Unfortunately, all we do is give the tanks away. We make them, we give them away faster than we can make them. You need some tanks? Oh, yeah, we'll send them to you over there. And they're expensive suckers, too. But we'll provide all of our friends and many of our enemies with tanks, because half of the time with Biden, you don't know if they're friends or enemies. We give them whatever they want. But when you look at it, but now they want to make them electric. And the problem is very similar. They don't go far. They're too heavy, very heavy. You know, the battery, in fact, it's so much bigger than a tank for diesel fuel or gasoline, that they want to make a truck, like a toy truck, like a little toy truck with a huge battery on the back. It's almost as big as the Army tank. So when it goes into enemy territory, it's pulling this thing. I said, what happens if somebody blows it up? Well, you're dead. Now you don't have to hit the tank, you just have to hit the battery. No, they want to do it. Think of it. They want to do it. Now they'll say, oh, these stories are terrible. Well, these stories are, you heard my story in the boat with the shark, right? I got killed on that. They thought I was rambling. I'm not rambling. They want to make boats. And they are demanding that they be all battery operated, all electric. And I was in South Carolina at this wonderful family boat yard. The big yard make a lot of boats, from 17, like fishing boats, 17 to 30 feet. And I said, how's everything going? No good. They want us to go all electric. I said, well, would that work? No, because it's so heavy, we can't get the boat to float. The battery is so heavy. So then I start talking about asking questions, I had an uncle who was a great professor at MIT for many years, I think the longest tenure ever, very smart, had 3 different degrees. And, so I have an aptitude for things. There is such a thing as an aptitude. I said, well, what would happen if this boat is so heavy and started to sink and you're on the top of the boat? Do you get electrocuted or not? In other words, the boat is going down and you're on the top. Will the electric currents flow through the water and wipe you out? And let's say there's a shark about 10 yards over there. Would I have to immediately abandon, or could I ride the electric down? And I said, sir, nobody's ever asked us that question. But, sir, I don't know. I said, well, I want to know, because I guarantee you one thing. I don't care what happens. I'm staying with the electric. I'm not getting over with it. So I tell that story. It's, just fun. And the fake news, they go, he told this crazy story with electric. It's actually not crazy. It's sort of a smart story, right? Sort of like, it's like the snake. It's a smart. When you figure what you're leaving in, right? You're bringing it in. The snake, right? The snake. And the snake, I tell that. And they do the same thing. What does a snake have to do with illegal immigration? Well, I think it has a lot to do with it, because that's exactly what you know what you get. And that's what we're getting. We're getting problems like you wouldn't believe, right? So they want to go all electric. They want to make our airplanes, our fighter jets, electric, even though they're 18% less efficient. Now, the difference between 18% and 100% is the difference between being easily and immediately shot down or winning. They don't care. They don't care. And I say, why are they doing this? They're flying over enemy territory, and they don't want to affect the air. They're blowing the shit out of the place, but they don't want to. Think of it. They don't want to affect the air. They want it to be beautiful air, clean air and water. Boom, boom, boom. These people are stone cold crazy. And these idiots are running our government. They're running our government. I met with the truckers the other day. Big thing. I'm a big Roger Penske fan, right? I like Roger. He's won Indianapolis like 19 or 20 times. I'm a fan. But he owns trucks, and he was one of the guys there. And one of these people has 28,000 trucks. Think of that. I said, how many trucks do you have? 28,000, sir. I said, you got to be kidding. 28,000. And they're big ones, the 18-wheelers. They're big, big trucks. And they're really bothered. Oh, I'm solving their problem probably by doing this, because by everything I do, when I go out and favor something like no tax on tips. They haven't been able to do that because, they just set regulations that make it impossible for people that get tips to even live, to breathe. But no tax on tips, that's a big deal. Remember that, everybody? It's a big deal. I don't think they're going to be able to do that. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. They have been so vicious to these people. But now they'll soften up a lot just by doing it. But I was with Roger Penske and these truckers. And they say the big problem is they want us to go all electric on our trucks. And I say, well, if you fill it up with diesel, and the big guy at the meeting that had this big monster company, think of it, 28, starts with one truck, and then he's got 28,000 trucks over many, many decades. And he said, sir, every single year I bought a truck. He used very foul language, but I won't do it because I promised Franklin Graham. Franklin Franklin wrote me a letter the other day. I watched your rally. I thought it was great. But honestly, Mr. President, it would have been much better if you didn't use foul language. And I said to myself, he's wrong about that, because sometimes for emphasis, I don't use real foul, but every once in a while I'll use a little word here or there, and not a particularly bad one. But I said to myself, I'm going to do it because I like him a lot. But he said, it's great, your stories are great, but you don't have to use. But sometimes there's no word that can describe it, right? I'm looking for a word, like when somebody tells tall tales, there's a certain word that starts with B, right? There's no word that I can find to replace, right? But I'm trying, Franklin. I'm trying. And when people, and we have these big rallies. In New Jersey, we just had a rally, 107,000 people. Can you believe it? 25,000 people in the South Bronx. So we had 88,000 people in South Carolina, 68,000 in Alabama. And I said, when people start leaving early, and I'm going to have to go back to the foul language, I think. But so we have this meeting, and he said, I started off 50 years ago, and every single year that I bought a truck, it was better than the first year, better than the previous year. The truck got better, got stronger, faster, bigger, more fuel efficient. Every year for 50 years, those trucks get bigger. He said, sir, I build apartments, we call them apartments, or those trucks. You would be proud to live in one of those. I said, I don't know about that. They build the cabs with a place to stay. I said, I could handle it. I could. But he said, every year they get better. If they force this electric mandate on us, we'll go back 70 years, not 50 years. He said, we'll have to stop 6 times from New York to Los Angeles. I said, how many times do you have to stop now? None. We go directly New York to Los Angeles, all the way, no stops. I said, didn't you explain that to them? Yes, we do all the time. It doesn't make any difference to them. The other thing, I didn't know this, he told me that the truck will be more than 2 times heavier. He said, so if you do this, you're going to have to rebuild every bridge in the country. Can you believe it? Now, how stupid is it? And the other thing is it takes much more room, so a lot of your payload is going to be gone. It takes much, much more room. The whole thing will, possibly never work, and that's okay. Some things you got to know. But I said, so what's their attitude? We don't care. We want you to go to electric. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. You can explain it to them. They're evil people. They're fascists. They don't care. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, we win. We are going to win, not me, we. I will have, if you go and vote, Christians, please, I'll report you to Ralph Reed. How about if Ralph didn't vote? I want to check Ralph's voting record. He votes. If Ralph, I would be shocked. But I'm saying that because you have to remember, you do have to do it, because you don't do it. But we will win the presidency, and I'll have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine, which would have never happened if I were president. I will restore that. Now, I'll have that settled. But you know what's happened? It's just so. It would have never happened. You wouldn't have any lives taken. You wouldn't have had those ancient cities, those gorgeous golden towers knocked down, obliterated. You can never build that stuff again, that history. But far more people are dead than they said. And you would have never had the attack on Israel on October 7th. You would have never had it. You would have never had the attack on Israel. And you wouldn't have had inflation. I had the oil. It was caused by energy. Now it's caused by everything. The energy started it, and started it with a level of nobody's ever seen anything like it. The inflation, I believe it's the worst inflation this country's ever had. And inflation is known as a country buster. So you wouldn't have had just those 3 things. Think of it. If you didn't have Ukraine, if you didn't have inflation, and if you didn't have the attack on Israel, just those 3, what a different world this would be. Just those 3. And then we could name about 30 more. You wouldn't have had that Afghanistan disaster as an example. Not getting out. I was going to get out. I was going to keep Bagram, though, because it's 1 hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. They're giving up one of the biggest air bases in the world. You know who occupies it now? Take a guess. China! China occupies Bagram. Thank you very much. Did they send us a letter? President Xi, where's your letter? Thanks. It's unbelievable. I would have kept it not for Afghanistan, but it's 1 hour away from where they make their nuclear weapons. In my next term, we will build a great iron dome over our country, a dome like has never been seen before, a state-of-the-art missile defense shield that will be entirely built in America and create jobs, jobs, jobs. We're going to build it in America. Israel has it. Israel has it. Why don't we have it? I mean, we're more of a target in many ways than Israel. Why don't we have it? And by the way, 300 missiles shot, only one got through, and that was wounded. It didn't hit its target. But so 300 missiles shot, and essentially none got through. It was. Why don't we have it? We're going to have it, and we're going to build it in America. It's all going to be made. We're not going to be shipping it out to other countries to do like we do so stupidly. You know, they make fighter jets where they have different countries make different parts. And I said, what happens in case of a war? You're going to be sending parts all over the place? You got to make the jet in one location. These people are crazy. No, they do it. They concede it to all these countries. Well, we want to make the engine. We want to make the wing. So you got wings being set. We want to make the tail. You got these parts that they put it together. You got to make your planes. This is military stuff. You got to make your planes. Common sense. We are the party of common sense. That's what we are. We're going to rebuild our cities into beacons of hope, safety, and beauty better than they have ever been before. Right now, they're killing fields, our cities. We're going to give back our law enforcement. We're going to give them back the respect that they deserve. They are being treated so badly. If they do something that's harsh to stop a crime, they end up losing their pension, they end up losing their job, they end up losing their family and their home. And I'm giving immunity to police all over the country for that. I mean, we have some police forces where they make you go out and get a lawyer to defend yourself. They won't defend you. You have to hire your own lawyer. Now, I know more about lawyers than any man, perhaps. And I don't like lawyers, and I don't like the fees. But can you imagine a policeman having to hire a lawyer to defend himself? We are going to give immunity to police when they do their job. We will take over the horribly run capital of our nation in Washington, D.C. It is so badly run. And we will clean it, renovate it, and rebuild our capital city so that it is no longer a nightmare of murder and crime. We are going to have, look, they go down from places. I mean, think of it, what's happening here. They come from Iowa, they come from Idaho. Those are the two that Biden always gets confused. It's wonderful to be in Iowa, but he notices the fields are all potato fields. I didn't know they made so many potatoes in Iowa. The worst is when he said, it's great to be in Florida. And he's in Maine. You know, you're looking outside, it's freezing. It's great to be in Florida. I love the people of Florida, so much so that we're leading in Florida by about 17 points. But we're not going to have this capital of ours that we love and cherish be a victim in itself of all of the murder and crime that's taking place. I lost a man who was a great person. Everyone loved him. It was a carjacking. He was waiting for his wife, and somebody came out. Didn't even give him a warning, just said, just took a gun, shot him through the head 5 months ago. Shot him through the head. The wife is walking out. He was picking up the wife from work. Shot him through the head, dumped him into the street, took the car. They caught him. And, you know, he'll be protected by all sorts of things. Those people get protected. We don't get protected, but they get protected. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. And I will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. I will support a strong policy, which I have, of universal school choice, allowing parents to choose the public, private, charter, or religious school that best suits their children. I will support America's homeschool families, including allowing 529 education savings accounts to be used for homeschooling expenses, up to $10,000 a year per child, completely tax-free. This room likes that more than some rooms. Some rooms don't, and that's okay, but this room does. That's good. Glad I said it, actually. And I will shut down the Federal Department of Education, and we will move everything back to the states where it belongs and where they can individualize education and do it with the love for their children. Thank you. Think of it. We spend more money per pupil than any country in the world. Vote. Oh, vote? Go ahead. Vote, vote, vote. Thank you. We spend more money per pupil. Think of it. You know the expression? And I said it to a large African-American group of people 4 years ago. What the hell do you have to lose? You're the worst in income. You're the worst on crime. Your cities and your areas are being decimated. You can't get a home. You can't get mortgage. You can't get. They're last on it. I said, and the Democrats have for 100 years run these cities. 100 years. I said to them, what the hell do you have to lose? And you know what? They agreed with me, and I did very well. And now we're at the highest level that any Republican has been with African Americans and with Hispanic Americans. Now, I'm going over this list. Every single thing was bad. I said, what do you have to lose? But I say the same thing about the education. So we're last per pupil. We're last. We're at the bottom of the list in terms of the capabilities. 40 different countries. We're at the bottom of almost every list. But we're the top of the list in cost spent per pupil. We spend more money per pupil than any other country in the world, by far. And yet, we're last on the list in terms of, so what the hell do we have to lose? But I also know, like places like, go back to two I just mentioned, but look at Iowa, look at Idaho, look at some of the, you'll have some of the best school systems in the world. And you know what we'll do? We'll give them about half the money that we send them now. And for half the money, they'll have a lot of money left over. We'll cut our budget in half. And not everybody's going to be great. I mean, Gavin Newsom will not do a good job with education. So I don't expect that out of him, but I don't expect it out of certain other people. I don't want to mention too many people, but he'll do a horrible job. Probably it won't be any worse than it is now. It can't get any worse. But many of the states, I would say 40 of the, I went over them, 40 of the 50 states will do much better. And I'll bet you 30 of the states will be phenomenal. It'll be like beautiful. It'll be like Norway. You know, Norway has a great education system. In New York, they said, yes, we're studying the Norwegian plan. Oh, really? You're studying the Norwegian plan? Well, you better bring a lot of cops along because you have a lot of problems, right? We're studying the plan of Norway and Denmark. And actually, China is very high on the list. I mean, China's number 3 or 4 on the list. Think of it. Can you imagine that China is number 3 or 4 on the list? No, we're going to give it back to the states, and most of those states are going to do a phenomenal job, and we'll spend less than half the money on education. We'll have about 2 people in Washington. The 2 people will make sure that we have to guarantee that they're teaching a little English, right? That English is out there. But basically, there won't be a lot of coordination because other than, again, common sense, we're going to save a fortune, and many of our states will produce unbelievable students that will be able to rival Norway and Denmark and all of these places that are top. Some won't, and that's okay. a lot better than it will be now. I will also take historic action to defeat the poison of left-wing gender ideology and restore the timeless truth that God created two genders, male and female. And I will immediately, on my first day, sign an executive order to keep men out of women's sports. That'll take about 10 minutes. And I will fully uphold the Second Amendment because your guns are under siege. And I protected them for 4 years. You were protected. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech right from the beginning. And I will secure our elections. I will secure our elections. And as I said, our goal will be one-day voting with paper ballots, proof of citizenship, and a thing called voter ID. You know, when you negotiate with the Democrats, you start off, you say, look, the one thing we have to have voter ID. No deal. And I said, wait a minute, let's get this. We want voter ID. In other words, a little identification, right? Nope, we don't want to have that. Why don't they want? Because they want to cheat, that's why. They will, you know, when you go into the Democrat, I always say Democrat, you know, they'd rather have it the Democratic National. It's much nicer sound. Why don't they change the name? It's probably better. They hate it when you say the Democrat National Convention, right? It's much more beautiful. Actually, even when I make a speech, if I want to make a nice, elegant speech, let's say I came in here with a different attitude today, and I'd say the Democratic National Convention. Now I say the Democrat National Convention. It doesn't sound, it sounds flat, right? But I call them that because they don't want to be called that. They don't want to be called that. But when you go into their convention, you've got cards that are like, do you ever see some prisoners where they go like this? Well, how about my card? Did you see that picture of me? Did you see that? Do you believe that one? My parents said, what the hell happened to my boy? That was not in the cards. They didn't teach me that at the Wharton School of Finance. No, they're bad. These are bad people. But they have all sorts of information. They have everything. They have everything down. So it's okay for them when they have their convention to have a big card on your chest, hanging down off your chest. But it's no good for voting. They don't want it for voting because they want to cheat. We're not going to let them get away with it anymore. And there is one thing I will say, too big to rig. You make it too big to rig, we don't have to worry about it. There's a level at which they can't. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as crooked Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. He's crooked. He's a total thief. So if you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, and get everyone out to vote. You got to go vote. I'll say it again and again. Vote, Christians. You got to vote. And do it early if you want. You know, do it early, do it. Just do it. You got to vote. And watch your vote, guard your vote, and follow your vote. Follow your vote. Michael Watley's doing a great job. He's here. Michael, thank you very much, Michael. Thank you. And if you want to volunteer to help us defend election integrity, sign up at protectthevote.com. I tell my people, I don't need any votes. We got all the votes we need. I don't need votes. All I want to do is make sure that we guard our vote. It's guard. We stop the steal, okay? You know, there's a lot of expressions. I want the vote guarded. I want the steal stopped. Because we don't need the votes. We have the votes. We have more votes than we need. What we need, I tell these guys, I tell even RNC, I tell Michael, I tell Laura, I don't care. We have all the votes. What I don't want is those votes to disappear. They disappear. And new votes appear, brilliantly appear. That's what we have to do. If we do that, we have it made. If we don't do that, we're fools, okay? We're fools. In conclusion, America has always been a nation won, built, and sustained by Americans of faith. So true. It was faith that led the Pilgrims to cross an ocean and settle this majestic continent. It was belief in our Creator that led the patriots to defend their liberties in the war for independence. It was belief in America's God-given destiny that pushed the pioneers to journey west. It was Trust in God that led the generations of American believers to end slavery, defeat fascism and communism, and expand civil rights and make this into the greatest and most exceptional nation in the history of the world. But now we are a nation in serious decline. We are a failing nation. We are a nation that has lost its confidence, willpower, and strength. We are a nation that has lost, quite simply, its way. But we are not going to allow this horror to continue. Less than 4 years ago, we were a great nation, and we will soon be a great nation again. With the right leadership, every disaster crooked Joe Biden has created can be fixed, and it can be fixed very quickly. Every problem can be solved, and every wrong can be rectified. By this time next year, America's borders will be strong, sealed, and secure. We will let people come into our country, but they will be let in legally. They will come in through a legal process. Inflation will be in full retreat. Our economy will be roaring back. Optimism will be surging. The American dream will be thriving again for citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Law and justice will reign all throughout our land. Freedom will be restored. The flame of liberty will be burning bright again. Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of our country, will be a fading memory of the past. And our great silent majority, including the once forgotten men and women of our country, will be the ones shaping America's magnificent future when I am the 47th President of the United States. Because we are all Americans, and together we will show November 5th to be the most important day in the history of America. We are one movement, one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. We will make America free again. And we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Faith and freedom. Ralph, thank you. God bless you all. God bless you.
And that was President Trump's 9th appearance at the Faith and Freedom Coalition. As you take a live look there in Washington, D.C., his next stop, Trump Force One, 140 miles up to Philadelphia for a huge rally tonight. It's going to be inside the Temple University Arena there. About 10,000 seats there for a capacity crowd. It's going to be a wild night in Philadelphia, as the president has a speech slated there at 7 o'clock Eastern. You're watching Right Side Broadcasting Network. Thank you so much for sticking with us here for this coverage in Washington, D.C. I'm Matthew Alvarez. I would like to share with you one of the quotes that President Trump said that stuck out to me. Quote, Americans of faith are the soul of our country. Americans of faith are the soul of our country. We want to thank a couple of our sponsors before we go from this stream. We'll be going to a new stream in a second. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. 1775 Coffee, or in some cases, Nikki Stenzione, they're live in Philly, says coffee. Well, it's 1775 Coffee or Coffee, whichever one you'd like. Definitely, if you'd like to follow them and reach out to them, 1775 Coffee, as we could pull up the graphic right there on the screen. You can see all the information right there. Great group of people right there. And that's a Rumble exclusive as well. 1775coffee.com/RSBN. Also, a limited edition MAGA hat. You've been seeing this graphic throughout our broadcast as well. A real cool hat. You could text HAT to 88022 for more information on that limited edition MAGA hat. We'll have more information on those two sponsors in the next broadcast, which is just around the corner. All you have to do is close this link out. You'll look at the next one. It's the Philadelphia broadcast for Right Side Broadcasting Network. Nikki Stanzione and Bobby McNeely are there live. A lot of fun before with the crowds outside and, of course, inside. This is going to be a great event in Philadelphia. I checked. There's only a few events going on in the city of brotherly love today. There's a Phillies game around 4 o'clock, but other than that, tonight, the main event in Philly is President Trump's rally, which you'll see right here on Right Side Broadcasting Network. For all of us on this broadcast, I'll join you as well as the two correspondents there on the field on the other link. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in a second.
What's up, guys? My name is Jaden Hurd, and I'm the host of the Let It Be Heard show here on RSBN channel. I would love for you guys to check me out. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Rumble, YouTube. We release episodes every single week regarding culture, Bible, social issues, politics, current events, anything. So if you're into any of that stuff, I highly recommend you check me out. God bless you guys, and stay safe out there.
I'm excited to announce we're having a huge MyPillow spring sale, and here's a few examples. Buy one of our MyPillow 2.0s, you get another MyPillow 2.0 absolutely free. Made with cooling technology, the best pillow ever just got even better. And this just in, 9 brand new colors and styles of our Percale bed sheets. They're made with the finest long staple cotton, and now you can save 50% or more. That's as low as $24.98. And for the first time this year, I'm bringing you our My Slippers and Sandals for as low as $25 a pair. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get your MyPillow 2.0s. Buy one, get one free. Percale sheets as low as $24.98. My Slippers and Sandals as low as $25 a pair. And for a limited time, when you order $75 or more, your entire order ships absolutely free.